Yo, yo, yo. Oh, yeah. We're so back, baby. We're jack. We're jacked in. We're jacked in, ready to jack off. You at a bar? Nice, dude. Bars are what I consider a terrible time. Snap into a Slim Jim. Packing a bowl? Hell yeah. Packing and smacking. Listen, one of your older videos, it was weird reading a story about two people with your first name. I don't remember that one, honestly. But I remember growing up, there was a kid with the same name as me. And there was like a part of me that like felt like I couldn't hang out with them because it would just get too confusing. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but even if he was like a good person, it's like, sorry, I can't take the time. It was where the kid cut up his parents and his name was Joel Jr. Yeah, it was my future kids. She tried to pronounce flochinainhibilification. Easy peasy. Eugenia, what's up? Not long back from driving my two teens to school, a Rory concert in Dublin. He was amazing. In bed listening now. Nice. I don't think I've ever heard of Leroy. Kid. Oh, that's your kid. Oh, okay. Sorry. I was thinking that was like the artist. Joel is the name of the mall stabber in Australia. Alright. Finally, Jolts are getting recognition. I'm just kidding. I didn't even hear about that. Can you send via Gmail? Yep. Let's read submissions at gmail.com. Oh, the artist is Kid Leroy. Okay, nice. Hey, David, thanks for the one. Hannah, Joel, you were in my dream last night. Really? What was I doing? Probably eating a burrito and farting up a storm. How was my break? Spring break? You love me. I love you too. He read that heat on the house helps the decay faster, and he put the mom parts in a pan on the stove. Oh, I think I remember that, yeah. Is Joel my real name? It is, yeah. The realest of reals. Feel like we're friends? I think we're friends too. We're all friends here. We're all friends down here. Andrew Batts with who says, finally out and moved in with my folks. Glad of it. Oh, nice, Andrew. That was a long-ass fucking thing. I thought you were like a ward of the state or some shit. Not to push your business around, but I remember we were all following the lore very closely. Oh yeah, Hannah, how's it? 3 months old now. He's such a cutie little goob. That's so cool. What is that like, Hannah? Do you just kind of feel like all the shit of the past is just like pointless now? Because you're like, well, I got this little guy now. Dude, this song rocks. What MLP character are you? What's MLP? Major League Pineapples. What's up, Gru? The perspective shift is wild. Yeah, I can imagine, like, there's probably a lot of things that you're just like, well, goodbye to my dreams of smoking fentanyl under a bridge. Sleep is not happening. Yeah, I hear that's pretty rough. You ever tried freeze-dried candy? I do believe so. Well, wait, candy? I think freeze-dried fruit, or like dried out fruit, which is pretty much like candy. Like how the one misconception that human trafficking is easy for targeting people who's shopping in Walmart. Right, it's definitely not easy. It's just, I guess, a common thing that might happen around there because of, usually Walmarts are located near highways. Have you watched Fallout yet? I don't know. I know you don't watch a lot of TV, but it's good. Nice, Elvis. I will, I did hear it was good. I haven't watched it. What streaming service is that on? Because I did finish season 2 of Invincible, and I won't spoil that for anybody, but that is something I did watch. Oh yeah, Hannah, yeah. Did you just start from season 1 and make it all the way through season 2, or did you kind of like, because the way they paced it out, they did 4 episodes for season 2 and then they were releasing it weekly? Which I don't know if that was the best way to go about it. Speaking from experience with human trafficking, yeah. Yeah, they don't tell you. It's not easy once you get into it. It's hard to gain people's trust. Especially the people of Walmart. Invincible season 2 was goated, but the finale wasn't as good as one. Yeah, I won't. Dude, I just had like major deja vu from this chat for some reason. I don't know why. Did you ever get like just, I mean, deja vu's like the most pointless thing ever, but when you get it, it feels like you're like briefly getting a whiff of like God's farts or something. You can't quite explain it, but it's profound. Who's the artist of this song? So good. They are called, it's the best of Shingo Nakamura. He's a DJ, I guess. I'm gonna put his name in chat in honor of Shingo. How many stories we got tonight? We got quite a few, actually. I think we got like 17 kind of like quicker Walmart related stories. Yo, Charlie, what's good, dude? God's farts smell like freeze-dried candy. They do. Absolutely aerosolized to perfection. Deja vu means right place at the right time. Maybe it means you're having a mini stroke. But no, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, right here on the internet. WTF is Luciferian Family Services. You are religious. What are you talking about? Colin, welcome back for 53 months. Says 7 more months. And I've been listening to you for 5 years. Through nursing school, marriage, and a kid. Thank you, and Pradeep, you're welcome. That's crazy. Time does certainly fly by. Absolutely epic. Jay Sty, thank you. Good to see you. Yeah, for anybody new to the stream, also, I think from now on I'm going to leave, and you guys can give me feedback on what you think about this. When the streams are complete, I'm going to leave them public, still put them in that playlist, but I think they'll be a lot more discoverable by like newer people that want to see what this live streams are all about. if I actually leave them public instead of setting them to unlisted and then putting them in the playlist. Because I noticed that there's like more random comments that appear on the video whenever it stays public. So I don't know if that ends up hurting my views overall or pissing people off with like notifications, but I'm hoping the title of it, you know, helps to clarify. D. Ritz, 5 years, that's crazy. Yeah, you guys have changed my life in a very positive way. Andrew Batts who says Luciferian Family Service is a guardianship service. Oh, Lutheran family. Why the hell did I read that as Luciferian? Jesus Christ. My mind just went right to the devil. Freudian slippage. I'm 14 been listening to your stories for over a year. It's the only thing that helps me sleep. Well, thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. I changed your life for real. That's good. Is it just like the sleep thing? Because sleep is good. Sleep is like such a, like, you know, if you're not getting it, your mental health and your body starts to just not be so poggers. How was my day? My day was good, honestly. I've been waking up at like the morning. You guys would be proud of me. I'm not a degenerate as much. And I've been trying to get to bed by like midnight, waking up in the morning and just like doing the day. And I feel like I got like 3 days in one now. Rook X with the 5 says my fave Joel is Joel on Delo. By the way, what the heck is your young Death Knot rating? Oh. Rating? Oh, riding. You know, I don't know. We'd have to ask Robin that, but I think it's some engine, you know, some sort of like pod racer style engine. Whether it's like a plane engine or that he threw a saddle on. Maybe it was the model that he had. But yeah, today was good. It was like so nice out. It was like probably the most perfect temperature ever, where it was like upper 60s, but like beautiful white puffy clouds and blue skies and sun. And there was just like this warm breeze pushing everywhere, and God, it felt so good. It felt so fucking good. Give James a shout out. What's up, James? Do you actually learn a thing or two from the stories you read? I think so, you know, subconsciously, who to trust or not to trust. Or whenever, I don't know, when girls act weird, I just have to assume in the back of my head that they think I'm going to kidnap them because they listen to me. And that's, you know, most likely the scenario. Because it will happen. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast, Pennsylvania. Damn, dude. What the fuck? You know, people always used to like give EDM music and shit like a bunch of poop back when I was younger. Used to like be like oonts, 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 oonts. And it's like, sure, it does make a oonts sound, but when done right, it feels fucking amazing. WrestleMania was in Philly. That was so awesome. Oh, damn. I probably would have went. I can kidnap you. It's good to see. We got all, everyone, be sure to screenshot this. We got all these consent forms for kidnapping, so thank you guys. We'll be sure to show that in court. Been trying to figure out how to do a ghoul makeup job all week long. Oh, okay, because of Fallout. That's awesome. You know what this song's called? It is Crystallum. Crystal, like crystal, and then lum, Lum. Crystal lum. Crystallum. really big in the prison community. Yeah, they know me as Big J. I'm in charge of every gang. I'm pretty much like the warden of Super Jail. Kidnapping consultations will be available via Patreon. Boom, 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 boom. It's not kidnapping if you pay for the Uber. This is true. I'm trying to watch Overlord, and this is the same time. I've never seen you live, but welcome. Yeah, we got another minute here for anybody who's new, and it's going to switch to a spooky mood. And we're going to be recording some stories for tomorrow's big old video. Watching Invincible to wind down with Lewis. Oh, sorry, I'll be back another day. No worries, Hannah. Good to see you, and I'm glad you're doing well. You ever listen to Creepypastas, No Sleeps Anymore, even though you narrate true stories? You know, not really. I mean, I guess I listened to Dark Somnium's one where I got to do some voice stuff in that. And I do believe part 2 of Baraska, where I play kind of a bad guy, is coming out pretty soon. Yeah, so Baraska, Dark Somnium Part 1, you can hear me in that. And then Part 2 should be arriving either, I don't know, I think he posts like every 4 days or so. Yeah, it looks like every 3 or 4 days. Or twice a week, I suppose. What state am I from? I am from Pennsylvania. Pookie Bear. Where did the Pookie Bear meme come from? I feel like I see a lot of people say Pookie a lot more. Is that a TikTok thing? Boom. Saw you as Jimmy Prescott. You did a fantastic job playing the son of a bee in Baraska. Yeah, it's like, it just feels a lot more natural when you play like an evil guy, you know? Because like evil guys are like interesting. They say bad stuff. They have motivations. I feel like writing an evil person is just so much better in almost every possible scenario because the character actually feels like a human being, you know? Because not all human beings are... Well, I guess you could say being good is subjective. So in that same vein... In that same vein, all characters have a degree of evil and good in them, you know what I mean? Yeah, and villains keep your attention. He's in the Bad Boys. Creed is playing in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I got the tickets. Ah, it's tempting. Can you take me higher? What's your opinion on Baraska V or Baraska 2? A lot of people either hate it or love it. I don't know. You mean Baraska the first one or Baraska the second one? Because the vibe, I didn't really read through the second one other than like doing the character lines and stuff and getting the context related to them and kind of just getting a vibe from that. But I will say it kind of felt like my character in the second one feels a lot more like the story was written from the perspective of someone who just played like a video game, you know? Like they just played, what's that one fucking game? Fuck, I can't even remember it. It took, Far Cry. It felt like they just got done playing Far Cry, and my character is like giving them missions or some shit. Not to spoil it for you or whatever, but and then I had, you know what I mean? It kind of reminded me a lot of like, what's that? Fuck, I can't think of any games. I'm so bad at it. What's the Grand Theft Auto clone? Man, my brain is like farting so bad right now. But that like Grand Theft Auto clone, or like any Gearbox title, like Gearbox games tend to have like that millennial core writing, I guess, if you know what I mean, where everything's like, are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck, bro? Dude, that's not, you've gone insane, man. Whoa, what the hell? Nuts. I don't know. It's like sort of like millennial core cringe, but it's bad words and violence and whatever. But it's also like semi-childish, I guess. And that's sort of the vibe that I get with this one. I'm not saying it's absolutely childish because it's like more serious themes, but there's the characterization of the person that I do is a lot more, like, you could say more personality comes out, but there's a part of me that kind of wonders if it's like the same character as the first one, or maybe it's just because you spend more time with them or something. Saints Row, yeah, that's it. It's like kind of a saint. It goes from like a very serious, like mysterious story in the first Baraska to like sort of a Saints Row vibe. I don't know. Maybe I got it completely wrong, but Nick, the Enlightened with the 5 says hi. Saw your lives. Figured to say hi. I also work at Walmart myself now, actually, so these stories will all be all the more intriguing for me. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a good time there. Baraska the sequel, I think most people are in consensus that Baraska 1 is a masterpiece. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, the energy is completely different. The energy is somewhere else with it, you know? All right. Well, anyways, we got 17 of these bad boys here for you tonight about Walmart. Took a long time to compile, but we have arrived. Be sure to send your stories in. Reddit r/Let'sReadOfficial or let'sreadsubmissions@gmail.com. Click like, click share. Glad you can be here. When are you going to do that call-in live stream, Keck? We can tell your stories live. I mean, that would be interesting for show. But years ago, I had somebody, I forget exactly why I had them on to the live stream per se. Any opinions on Coachella? I heard that Grimes like really fucked up her show by like not rehearsing, but I personally don't give a fuck. I also saw a funny meme where it was like when the genie gives me 3 wishes, and it's like POV Coachella when the genie gives me 3 wishes, and it's like that nuke going off in Akira, the beginning of Akira. Let's just say it's pretty stinky over there. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Whatever, no big deal. Back in 2011, I did a week of guest lecturing at UMSL, and since I was still a young maverick back then, I was content to surf the couch of an old friend who happened to be working there after attending the same university. We were still in our late 20s, so we were holding down jobs and being fairly responsible, but still staying up until 3 a.m. on the weekend, playing stoned Wii Sports until we got hungry enough to want to eat. At which point, we'd head over to the local 24-hour Walmart to grab whatever took our... At which point, we'd head over. Coachella can be Let's Read ambient music. That would be sick. Imagine if, like, just towards the end of Coachella, they put on one of my videos just as, like, ambient stuff as you, like, walk around, and it, like, winds people down. Here, Coachella. You officially can use my audio to do that. I give you permission. It's going to happen because I said it. How's my lifting been going? It's good, honestly. I feel good. It's kind of crazy. There was a guy at the gym. He told me, he's my age, he's 33, but he's a little bit different in the fact that he has 3 kids and a wife, you know. And sometimes I kind of wonder, like, whenever a guy has kids and a wife, if there's some sort of and this is just bro science in my head, which is also magic. I sometimes wonder, like, when you have kids as a guy, if your testosterone levels just kind of like go down just naturally, because your body's like, well, you fucked somebody and procreated, so therefore you can, chill out or whatever. You heard I deadlift 600 pounds. That facts. I did 505. That was my best. It'd be sick to get to 600. I think I can do it. But anyways, this guy was telling me that he went to a doctor and like a hormone doctor, and they made him do blood tests and saw that his testosterone was like 265, which I guess is on the pretty low end of things. Like, they kind of want you somewhere between like over 300 to like upwards of like 800 or some shit. And anyways, so then the doctor prescribed him like every 2 weeks or every week to take 200 milligrams of testosterone, and he has to like, inject it into his ass or whatever the fuck. But he said that over the course of doing that, he went from like weighing 155 pounds to, like, over the course of a few months, weighing 155 pounds to like weighing close to like 175. Yeah, so it's TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. And then he went from like barely being able to bench like 185 to like now, over the course of just a couple of months, like repping out 255. And I don't know, it just like blew my mind. I was just like, holy shit, like that's how incredibly important keeping your test levels. More Joel steroids toys. I'm not on them. I'm not taking them. I'm just saying, like, it was just fascinating, and it makes me. I did get my blood test done like a while ago, unrelated to that, and I wish that I would have remembered what my test was at. But I would like to get my test tested. I don't know, man. I've got 2 kids, and 13-year-old, 7-year-old. I'm 33 and fresh divorced, and I've been in the best shape of my life. Seems incredibly great at being single. I wonder if once you got single, if it like went back up, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying it went down or up. I'm just fucking, like I said, bro sciencing in my head. But I look at the guy, and he seems like he should be, healthy, happy, whatever. But I'm just curious exactly what were the contributing factors to his decreasing testosterone levels. Testosterone is everything from muscle building. Even 200 milligrams of test gave your friend significant gains. It's crazy, I can't imagine, I don't know. And the more I thought about it, like we've talked about like Sam Sulek before, and I started to think to myself, I'm like, I feel kind of bad for these guys. You know what I mean? Because like people always talk about like body dysmorphia and shit like that in the modern era, and that's like, some sort of topic that's pretty prevalent within like the bodybuilding community, where you just constantly look at yourself, even though you work out all the time, and think that you're shit, you know what I mean? That you're poop and you're not good, and that you could be better, and that you need to lose fat and weight. Hey Becky, welcome to the Buttersock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. And so it's like clearly there's a semi degree of psychological, frustration there, I guess you could say. And that even though I would say Sam, and I'm not trying to knock him or anything like that, even though I will say he's a great guy, a very nice man, I realize that psychologically underpinning, someone's personality, if they find that they have to take copious amount, abuse steroids essentially, and copious amounts of it to attain a certain physique and work out 7 days a week, 365, I feel like that's not something we as a culture should like cheer on, you know what I mean? Because it does really take its toll on like your heart over a period of time. Various other issues I'm sure are popping up. Maybe, I've heard it like encourages tumor growth or prostate cancer or shit like that. I'm not saying that that's going to be the outcome, But it's like, it just seems like we're all sitting there like gawking at a character, and I'm just picking him out because he's the big guy right now. But like all these like steroid individuals, these fitness influencers, we sit there and like, you know, put their life under a microscope, specifically their like physical shit. And I think that just like feeds into almost as if they have, you know, say they were to have like bulimia or anorexia or something. Like, you don't look at like a person who has like clearly has like anorexia or an eating disorder and say, yeah, you could lose a few pounds. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not, it's not how you would want to guide their psychology. But I feel like sometimes with people who are on steroids and that kind of thing, we almost like encourage their death because it's more or less like a circus show for us. You know what I mean? But I guess, you know, it's better to work out every day of your life, I guess, than just smoking fentanyl under the bridge, like what I wanted to do with my life. Your uncle's best friend died of SCD from steroids back when I was a kid. Never even became a thought in my mind since I started working out. What's SCD? What was that? My coworker, jacked and only 45 years young, dropped dead of a heart attack. Abuse of steroids is a thing. Who knows what else he was doing? He shocked everyone who knew him. Yeah, I remember, what the hell was his name? The guy's like, what is up, motherfuckers? Rich Piana. You guys remember Rich Piana? I used to watch his videos with my old roommate, like, religiously because they were so fucking funny. You know, because he was just like such a character. And, you know, he dropped dead in his 50s. Come to find out that it wasn't just steroids that he was abusing, but he was, I don't know, just on all sorts of drugs. You know, there's one of his friends revealed that he was like on, I think on like crystal meth or some shit, or just like crazy amphetamines, you know, which obviously just stacking all of that shit onto your heart, just like waiting for it to explode. Low testosterone decreases energy tremendously, so a lot of people start steroids to help with that versus to build muscle. No, I totally agree. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why they would get you back on TRT. And he says he feels great, you know. Stories from the Dominican Republic would be nice to hear. Yeah, I'll look into it for sure. At which point, we'd head over to the local 24-hour Walmart to grab whatever looked good. He worked late shifts, and almost all my lectures were scheduled for the afternoon, so we stayed up almost every night, either just hanging out, watching movies, or playing Wii. Then, on the fourth night of our little ritual, my buddy gets home from work, we smoke up, play some more Wii Sports, and then made our way over to the Walmart to get some food. We're walking up and down the aisles with a basket, throwing in pizzas and wings and whatnot, but then, when we got to the snack aisle, we found ourselves in a minor disagreement over which chips to buy. We basically ended up standing there having some dog-brained debate on which Ruffles were the superior flavor, when I start to notice this dude at the end of the aisle on our right. And I noticed him because he wasn't looking at the chips. He was very peculiarly, I added that in there. I don't know why I did that. But I don't think that's a made-up word. What happened to the stalker from the email you read? Oh, I found her. I found her address in her home, and I went to her house and killed her. So, yeah, that's done. That drama's over. Just kidding. I don't know. People are crazy. Fucking internet folk. I'm actually like an ugly duckling. I was a beast in high school. Now at 40, I'm so happy with how I look, face, and weight. Well, that's good. Doubled it and gave to the next person. Yeah, 2 stalkers. Denzel Washington. King Kong! Ain't got nothing on me. And I noticed him because he wasn't looking at the chips. He was looking directly at us. You know when you can see someone looking in your direction, but you don't want to make any eye contact with them, so you kind of just check them out in your peripheral vision, but refrain from meeting their gaze. It sounds oddly specific, I know, but I'm sure some of you will know what I mean. When I say that... Oh, what the fuck? Trying to lose 50 pounds again for my baby, and she's 2. That's all right. I mean, it you know, that honestly, losing weight at the end of the day, it's just like you gotta you gotta ask yourself, well, first you gotta set your, find what your calories in, calories out, and just tell yourself, I'm gonna do this for a week. I'm gonna get my meals planned out for a week with my calories in, calories out, needs. And I'm just gonna do this for a week. And then if you're down a pound or 2 pounds, 3 pounds by the end of the week, you would tell yourself, I'm moving in a good direction. That 500 calorie deficit that I have myself on is moving in that direction. All right, let's go to the next week. Let's recalibrate and keep going. And if you get to a point where things just aren't moving, then you just probably have to go down a little bit more on the calories, like 100 or 200. And it's tough. It is tough, but it just requires you to sit down one day with like a notepad, maybe talk to God, and just be like, I'm gonna fucking do this, and I'm gonna figure out how to do it, and I'm gonna implement said plan until I do it. All that being said, I'm right there with you. It's fucking tough. SpongeBob SquarePants. How many calories should one eat to lose weight? I mean, it varies, obviously, depending on each person, but usually rule of thumb, once you figure that your BMR out, which can fluctuate wildly, you know what I mean? Once you figure out that basal metabolic rate, your daily net calorie intake you need to take in just to like maintain your weight while doing no activity and laying in bed, then just subtract 500 from that and then try to keep your protein high and try not to eat processed food, try to incorporate exercise, whether it's walking, running, biking, lifting weights, whatever the fuck, And yeah, fasting. I remember that's how I lost my weight kind of the fastest was on Sundays I would fast, and it does drive you nuts, so I wouldn't suggest doing that. The calorie deficit can still get the job done, but sometimes that expedites the process as long as you do it responsibly. Your puppy was 35 pounds last week. Today she's 43. Pyrenees, if you please. 6 month old. Oh, okay. So she's grown up. Fasting is OP. You want to get a bike? Go get a bike. It's like, I realized, now that I got my sleep schedule figured out, I realized there's so much shit that you wanted to do, and it really just comes down to you just making it happen. Like, nothing in life is going to be handed to you from the universe or the Lord or whatever the fuck, Nothing in life. It all has to come from your actions. Which kind of fucking sucks. Because why the hell doesn't the government just give it to me? Via force. I just think it'd be easier to work out more after I've done my surgeries, and PT people I've talked to have said really good things about the immediate benefits of the surgery. Yeah, I don't know your circumstances there, but, staying active is always good. Build healthy habits now. I'm not trying to resort to being an Ozempic girly. Yeah, fuck that, dude. No offense to anyone who's gone that route, though. Just scary to me. Yeah, from what I've heard, the Ozempic thing is very strange. It's essentially like deactivating your gut's ability to digest things effectively, which you know, the fact that it comes from the pharmaceutical companies, I wouldn't be surprised in, like, you know, allegedly 5 years from now, you come to find out that people that took it, like, their digestion is just like completely fucked for the rest of their life. And then they have just strange gut issues. If you have a hard time fasting, be consistent with going to the gym and doing cardio. That's true too, yeah. Staying on top of that, getting the blood flowing. It's not, you know, now that it's spring is in the air, it's much easier to like feel motivated to do shit. Even just little shit, you know, going for a walk when before you're like, I don't want to go outside. I feel like I'll die. Prebiotic, probiotic? Like which one? I don't know. I like my digestion has been like so good ever since I've talked about this before. You get that 3-pound bag of mixed berries, you know, it's frozen. You have it in your freezer the night before, you set it in your fucking fridge, let it thaw in the morning. You can eat a bowl of that or put some, you know, honey on it or whatever. And it's just like the best digestion I've ever had. I don't even have to worry about stupid fucking yogurt anymore, you know. But yeah, exactly. There's no quick fix to losing weight. It's really just like telling yourself, like, I am going to be a different person from now on. I am going to incorporate exercise. I'm going to think about the shit that I eat before I put it in my body. I'm going, you know, you don't have to obsess over it and be dumb, you know, and end up developing some eating disorder or whatever. But it needs to be a conscious thing. And you know, one of the best ways to do that is to log your food, get an app that does that, ones that have like literally all the nutritional facts like already built in. So you type in banana or how big the banana is or whatever the fuck, and it'll ask you like, did you stick the banana up your ass? And you'll say, I did. And does that count as calories? And they'll say, no, you fucking freak. So it's up to you, really. You eat before workout? I do. Yeah, I usually 2 hours before. Definitely get food in because I think it's like you need like a solid like 2 hours to digest it, especially if it depends on what you're doing. Some, you know, you see people within those like motivational realms, like they'll wake up and they'll go on a walk or they'll do a run, and the idea there is that it's sort of like, I don't know, supposedly, you know, now that your body's like empty since you've slept, it's gonna like go through the metabolic process of like, it's like, oh, there's no you know, there's no glucose or whatever in my muscles. Let's check the liver, okay, or whatever, you know, like, oh, is there any in my stomach? No. And then it's like, okay, let's go to the fat cells and like go through the process of, you know, metabolizing fats. And then, you know, but then afterwards, then you'll see people, then they'll eat their breakfast after the run and then go lift. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it really is just calories in, calories out kind of thing. Cut out carbs, almost my pain, inflammation disappear. The amount of sugar in our processed foods is insane. It does make a big difference, you know, especially with like bloating and things like that. Trying to stick to whole foods is really some of the best way to stay. You know, just foods that only have like one ingredient, a fucking berries, banana, slab of meat, you know, it doesn't get put in a box. Gonna make a huge pan of mac and cheese with ham for dinner tomorrow. That sounds amazing. It sounds oddly specific, I know, but I'm sure some of you will know what I mean when I say that. I didn't look directly at this dude, but I also knew for certain that he was looking at us. Not just a glance either. He was staring at us. I turned to my buddy and I was about to say, get a load of this guy, when I saw a second dude standing at the opposite end of the aisle, who was doing the exact same thing. Now, I did end up making eye contact with this second guy purely by accident, but he only glanced at me for a second before I recognized that he wasn't strictly looking at me. He was looking past me at the first guy I'd spotted, who was standing to my right. Fuck. That was a long sentence to fuck up. Now, I did end up making eye contact with the second guy, purely by accident, but he only glanced at me for a second before I recognized that he wasn't strictly looking at me. He was looking past me, at the first guy I had spotted, who was standing to my right. And that's when I turned back to the original dude to see if he really was checking out this other guy and not me and my buddy. And lo and behold, he was indeed looking at this guy. And lo and behold, he was indeed looking at this seemingly random dude. Keeping in mind that I'm just completely toasted at this time, it took me a second to realize what was going on, and that there weren't just these two random dudes staring at me from each end of the aisle. They were having some kind of weird staring competition, and at first I didn't realize just what that meant. But the second the guy on my right reached into his waistband, and I saw this flash of jet black against his bright red boxers, everything I'd been slow to pick up on hit me all at once, and I just remember dragging my buddy to the floor as the shots started popping off around us. I instinctively tucked my head in and squeezed my eyes shut after hitting the floor, so I didn't see anything of what happened next. All I heard was the shots, or more specifically, the crazy echoing that they... Holy shit. He showed up to a Mexican standoff. I listen every night to stop the dreams. My voice stops the dreams? Wouldn't it be like enhancing the dreams? All I heard was the shots, or more specifically, the crazy echoing they made as the sound waves bounced all over the store. Then, while the shots were like whop, 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 just this weird sound, I had my buddy in my left ear screaming, "What the F? What the F and F?" And we just lay there until everything finally went quiet, ears ringing, and by that point my buddy had gone quiet too. Probably one of the most terrifying moments of my entire life, right there, thinking one of my best friends in the entire world had been shot dead. Thankfully, he just finally decided to shut up and stop screaming, but that moment of thinking, "Oh God, please no," probably one of the worst ones in my entire life. I remember just helping my friend up, and then we saw one of the employees running for a fire exit, and we followed. And then the next thing, we were in the parking lot, hearing one siren turn into two, and then double again, and then before we knew it, there were like half a dozen cop cars all pulling into that Walmart parking lot in twos and threes. The parking lot was just completely filled with blue and red lights as the cops ran into the Walmart through the front entrance. But by that point, I think both shooters were long gone. I don't remember seeing any blood either. I mean, not that we were looking, but the point is, I'm not sure that they even hit each other. And I read later that you don't even start gushing blood after being shot, that it sometimes takes a second for the bleeding to really kick in, depending on where the wound is. So maybe they did hit each other, and I just didn't see any of it. I actually did a disturbing amount of research into small caliber shootouts after that whole incident too, and all under the recommendation of the therapist that Yushai provided me with. They were great providing me with paid leave, as I'm not going to lie, being in public places was pretty nerve-wracking for a while after that shooting. The thing that really got me was how lucky we'd been not to have been hit in the crossfire. And I'll put it this way. We had to talk to the cops afterwards to give them a description of both shooters, so we got a pretty good breakdown of what had actually happened. I guess these two gangbangers managed to pepper that entire aisle with 14 bullets that went everywhere, but then somehow, by the grace of God, neither of us were hit. It's still something that I think about from time to time. Like whenever I drive past a Walmart someplace, it's guaranteed to pop into my head if I ever have to visit one for any reason. And I always wonder what would have happened if I hadn't spotted the guns in time, or if we hadn't been so lucky in regard to where the bullets ended up. Jesus Christ. This chair frame. God, that is fucking crazy. Did anybody here ever live anywhere near gang territory? Do 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 do. Ever gotten nightmares from my stories? No, I don't really. I don't think I feel them ever, you know? Wanksters. Bunch of wankers. Right outside of New Orleans. I heard New Orleans was the worst in the country. Is that true? Oh yeah, Memphis too. Yeah, it's just like weird ones that you never hear about. You hear about like Memphis rappers and shit like that, but it's just I don't know. Kid got shot right across the street. It is dumb. I think that's the one thing that I hate about the news the most, is they'll fucking, you know, go on and on and on about like shootings, which is obviously something to discuss, but they never, on the larger, you know, national scale, ever fucking talk about like gang violence in like cities and stuff. And all, you know, and for the amount of like people that get killed on a weekend in fucking Baltimore or whatever, all it shows to me is that like they don't give a fuck. They like legitimately do not give a fuck. They've given up whatever narrative they want to push and just do not give a shit. Spit on the floor at Walmart? No, I never tried it. The single worst shift I ever worked during my time at Walmart was on Mother's Day of 2015. I was working customer service and handling the day as best as could be expected on a Sunday holiday where the employees were mostly female mothers. That meant we had 13 call-outs and 5 no-call, no-shows, and resulted in us having just 5 overworked women to handle that whole Sunday. Lines were long, but... What the fuck, Pradeep? You scary bastard. He like brought his... He didn't even like bump into my leg. He brought like just his whiskers to like rub... to like fondle my leg, and it felt like a bug. Too much gang violence to talk about. What a dumb thing to say. What do you mean it's a dumb thing to say? It's like, if that's a huge ongoing issue and you just say there's too much to even, you know, worth your time to talk about, how would that be something like a dumb thing to say? That's like clearly an issue to discuss, and it just seems like it's being ignored. Whatever. That meant we had 13 call-outs and 5 no-call, no-shows, and resulted in us having just 5 overworked women to handle the whole Sunday. Lines were long, but we had 0 help. Management couldn't spare anyone. At one point, I'm getting yelled at by a blue-haired old woman about the lines when I get the call that made me regret waking up that day and coming to work. "Hey, see that kid in the orange shoes to your left?" Someone asked me over my radio. "Stop him." I did as I was told, but also asked why. Like if the kid's mom was looking for it or something. And then I reply, and then I hear in reply, oh, okay. Then I hear in reply, he messed himself and tracking... And then I hear in reply, he crapped himself and is tracking feces all over. I'm trying to find his mother on the cameras right now. and my heart sunk. The kid was absolutely covered in it, and I felt horrible for this little guy, but I had to do everything in my power not to puke as I led him over to the customer service desk. Maybe 10 or 15 minutes went by, and I saw our head of security approaching customer services. He'd been looking for the kid's mom, so I asked him if he'd found her yet. He just walked right past me without a word, with this weird kind of zapped-out look in his eyes. The second security guy, the one who'd been watching the cameras, he came out to watch the kid while I went to mop up all the poop, and there was a lot of it, so it took me a while, long enough so that the next time I walked by the front of the store, I saw our head of security talking to a cop outside. The kid's mom had left him in our toy section to try and distract him before she went into our bathroom to shoot up the heroin overdose that killed her. And I don't think that she meant to end her own life, just in case that came out kind of wrong there, and I think it was accidental. But yeah, she was dead on the scene in our bathrooms. The fire department took her body away and... Or what? The fire department? How much money do I make by telling stories? It just depends if Jacob Bowling's here to donate. Just kidding. The paramedics took her body away, and one of the cops stayed with us as we watched the kid until CPS showed up. We washed him down, cleaned him up, gave him some new clothes, and then off he went with a social worker. I wanted to quit after that shift more than any other I ever worked, but I stayed. For a whole nother year, actually, and it'd take a hell of a lot for me to go back to a place like Walmart for employment. And it'd take a hell of a lot for me to go back to a place like Walmart for employment. The everyday prices of Walmart. Oh, hey, kitty. Oopsies. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I guess, I don't have nightmares, but there is a grim reality to... What's my cat's name? His name is Pradeep. He's a good man. Hey, Nick Zakzak, welcome back for 3 months. I love listening to live streams when I'm doing door dashing. Also, you have the best YouTube channel. Hands down, keep it up. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you. Guys, how can I make this channel better? Is there anything I can do? Anything that would please you? Got the most random question. Yeah, ask anything you want. I do not care. Yeah, the best YouTube channel would be me giving you money. You know who does that is Charlie from, what's his name? Moist Crickle. And people were, it's so stupid Redditors with their high IQs who fucking wouldn't know a thing about paying taxes sit there and accuse Critical of doing giveaways just so he can do write-offs or something like that, and it's like, bro, no way. It's still gonna keep it's still gonna keep you in the same fucking bracket, and obviously doing giveaways and shit isn't something you can write off. Like whenever I did money raising things for people in the chat, I can't write that off as charitable donations or whatever. I think it has to be an organization, or I forget exactly what it is, but I just feel like everyone on Twitter is just a bunch of accusatory dipshits. Fucking, I don't know. The Penguin guy, yeah. Penguin Zero, Charlie, the Moist Crickle. Moist Criminal, more like it. No, I'm just kidding. Daily uploads of different impressions would be great. Yeah, maybe. Whole nother channel. The Jaja Binks. How's Wilkins? He's doing good. Just recovering at this point. Last I've heard. Came into tea. No, it's not like interesting tea, you know. It's just, I don't even think he had to like defend himself, but I think he just gets frustrated by how fucking brain dead people on Twitter are, where they'll sit there and like try to paint you out to be some stinky poo-poo head, and they don't know anything about U.S. tax code, or they don't, you know what I mean? They can't do math or even make any money themselves, you know? Still lifting, yipper. More lives? Yeah, maybe more lives. I don't know if it would be like too much. Doing a great job. I like to interact with everyone on the stream, not just the donators. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think my stream is like that popular to like gatekeep anybody, you know what I mean? If I had like 100,000 people watching, which I never will, but in a live stream, yeah, you know, then it might be, you might have to limit some things. Fifth generational warfare? What's that? Look it up. I don't want to look it up. I don't want to do anything. You gotta tell me what it is. About doing black screen videos for people who listen to your videos to sleep. Yeah, you know, people have said that. And I get, you know, do you think it would be an issue? I mean, I guess I could have asked my YouTube representative when I met with them recently about that. I should have asked them that. But that is a good point. Just like a black screen. Read the stories into AI and then generate images for each story. See, that would be something. Kind of add some. I wonder how much time that would take. Because like if I had 17 stories, well, you know, that wouldn't be too bad. If you had something where you're like, can you summarize this? You ask AI, can you summarize this story? Can you summarize this story in like a sentence? And then you put that sentence into AI, and then you put that for each story. Show my face on camera? Nah. No, I think it would like kill the immersion for people and just like be like, and it's not even that exciting, you know what I mean? How many times have anybody ever done like a face reveal and you've been like, wow, that's so freaking cool. Now all the fantasy in my head is dead, you know, or whatever. Like what was the fucking Wayne's, I think it was Wayne's World 2, where like the one guy, he was like the radio talk show host, and then they finally got to see him, and they're like, oh, what the hell? I'm not saying that's how it would be, but it's you know, not really worth it. It's never how you would think a person would look. Like, you think you've got voices figured out on how it matches human faces. It's more often than not incorrect. I saw the most up thing. Handsome Dan. Yeah, Handsome Dan. Oh my God. Handsome Dan. That's amazing. I saw the most messed up thing I ever saw in my life at the York Commons Walmart in Dayton, Ohio. I was near the pharmacy section, like not at the pharmacy section, but in one of the aisles where I could see it, when some guy walked past me who smelled like a dead skunk's asshole. I didn't realize where it was coming from at first. Like he walked past me, I suddenly smelled this god-awful stench, and I started to look around to see where it was coming from. I figured the guy might have farted as he walked past me, which isn't anything to start a fight with him over, but still, who the hell does that? But then as I'm looking at him thinking, Jesus Christ, dude, eat a goddamn salad every once in a while. I started to notice how he's not exactly very well put together. In fact, and I hate to sound like an insensitive jerk here, but he had a distinct air of homelessness about him. And so then, out of pure morbid curiosity, I decided to just stay put and see what this weird guy would need from the pharmacy. I'm not particularly proud of myself for feeling that urge, and now that I'm typing it out, it's really hitting me how weird that behavior is from people, and the same thing that makes them just stare at car accidents, I guess. But anyway, I watch as the homeless-looking guy waits in line to talk to the pharmacist, and the person in front of him clearly starts to smell him too, because she turned around and gave him this look that said, "Take a goddamn bath already." She then took her pills, or whatever, and stepped away, and then the stinky homeless dude steps up to the counter to ask for pills for his butt leakage, or whatever was going on. And that's legit what I thought was happening too. Like, I guess I just couldn't conceive what that guy might have been going through. And in my dumb, ignorant brain, stinky meant poo-poo, and with my total lack of medical knowledge, I could never have guessed just how horrifying the situation actually was. And Jesus H. Christ, was it horrifying. So I'm watching this homeless-looking dude talking to the pharmacist, whose eyes must have almost been watering because of how close he was. I couldn't hear exactly what they were saying, but the dude looked like he was asking the pharmacist questions, and the pharmacist couldn't quite understand him. The next thing I know, that guy is leaning down, grabbing a hold of the pant leg and rolling it up real carefully all the way up his boot and past his sock. The pharmacist leans over the counter, kind of looking down at him from what I'm guessing was like a slightly raised platform on the other side. Then when the homeless dude pulls his pant leg up a little more and reaches flesh, both me and the doctor pull back in horror. I'm maybe 15 to 20 feet away, so I can't see this guy's leg up close. But even from that distance, I could tell from the color of his leg that he had some kind of serious infection going on down there. And that's when it really hit me. The bad smell wasn't coming from this guy's mouth or armpits or butt. It was coming from this guy's leg wound, which was so badly infected that it must have been rotting from the inside out. I remember the pharmacist, covering his mouth right away after seeing it. I didn't see him gag or anything, but he sure as hell looked like he was pretty close to. He then talked to the guy in a higher volume, not talking to him in a polite way, but giving him a direct order. "You need to go to the hospital right now," he kept saying. I don't know what the homeless dude said back to him, but the pharmacist's eyes went all wide again as he repeated himself, "Sir, listen to me. You need to go to the hospital right away. This is very serious." And I couldn't just stand by at that point. I suddenly became very self-aware that I was just standing there, watching this all unfold, being one of those insensitive jerks who just stares at the 4-car pileup and doesn't offer to help or anything. I walked over, and I did the only thing I could think of. I asked the guy if he wanted me to call him an ambulance so he could get some actual medical assistance for his leg. And he kept saying no. But the pharmacist spoke right over his head like, "Yes, sir, you should do that. This man needs an ambulance." I remember reaching into my pants pocket to get my phone, then looking down at its screen, and that's when I caught a glimpse of this dude's leg close up. It was rotten. Actually rotten. So rotten that I'm pretty sure that I could either see this dude's shin bone directly at the bottom of the open wound, or there was some kind of muscle membrane or something that was pale and I mistook it for bone. Then, as I was looking at it, I really started to smell it again, and it was so bad that I had to cover up my mouth and nose with my... Brother, come on, Pradeep, scratching the fuck out of his thing. Dude, he just he knows I'm on a roll, and he's like, "Let me interrupt this." Wort. I know a guy whose foot fell off. He picked it up, put it in a tissue box, and took it to the hospital to see if they could reattach it. It was black and shriveled. Nice. What's up, Ashley? Eating a loaf of bread, listening to stories. Nice. Dude, bread is so good. I wonder if there's stores around that can... Well, I guess, yeah, a bakery might do freshly made loaves of bread. God, that'd be so nice. They should just have a jar that you can open up. It's just loaf of bread stench. Try to have a set schedule for time for these. They say like just 9 p.m. just like you do with the days you set for streaming. Definitely could. .420 stories on April 20th. I don't know. We will have to see. Yeah, a scented candle that smells just like bread. That'd be amazing. If it just made your whole house smell like fresh baked goods. Worst nursing stories. My worst nursing story was just basically the overall sensation of, if I stay at this fucking place, I'm gonna kill myself. That was it. For the most part, it wasn't even like where, I've said this before, but it wasn't even like the patients. Like, there was bad shit that was annoying to me and stuff, but I really had no issue working with the patients and all their bullshit, because you knew that eventually they'd leave and you could be on with it. But it was just looking around at your coworkers and just seeing how incredibly miserable they are, and just knowing that if you stay in that situation, you will turn into them, if not worse. Hey, Audrey, thank you. I don't know. It's a good job, but it's not that good. Then, as I was looking at it, I really started to smell it again, and it was so bad that I had to cover up my mouth and nose with my shirt to stop myself from gagging right in front of the dude. The guy kept telling me, please don't call anyone, but I just totally ignored him. I don't know if he had drugs on him, or if, like, a buddy of mine suggested he had outstanding warrants or something, but there was no way in hell that I was about to walk out of that Walmart without at least having done something for the guy. I guess I felt guilty for my first thoughts being, who's this stinky jerk, and then realizing, oh, shoot, this dude might be dying right in front of me. So I figured the least I could do was call the guy an ambulance so I could walk out thinking that I actually did something, or tried to do something anyway. But in the end, he stopped protesting and just walked out. The pharmacist and I were calling after him like, hey, you can't just leave, but he did. He just up and walked out like he was fine. But he was definitely not fine, not according to the pharmacist anyway. He said it was a miracle the guy was even on his feet, and that he had to be some... Miss Loveseek with the 2 says, I'm sending you some stalker stories this week. Heck yeah, thank you. Got any baking ideas? I don't know, just like make muffins. Like, everybody loves the muffin top. Usually there's cream on it too. But I would just highly suggest like trying to figure out how to make the lower portion of the muffin just as moist as the top. And I think some of the best way to do that, so that people don't ignore your lower muffin zone, your muff, is to like fill it with the same, whatever icing that goes on top, or cream cheese, or whatever it might be. Just like inject that into the interior of that muffin, and it should like increase its value tenfold. Did I delete my Twitter? No, it's still up. At Let's Read. I did change the name, I guess, because somebody who was previously at Let's Read reached out to me and said, hey, I'm getting off of Twitter. You can have this now. And I said, good. I was outside of his window as he was sending that, and I was looking in. He said it was a miracle the guy was even on his feet, that he had to be on some serious painkillers or have an addiction to numb all that pain, because a regular person would literally be screaming in agony if they were walking around with that kind of wound on their leg. The pharmacist said the guy would probably die soon, at least if he didn't get to a hospital as fast as possible. And I want to hope that he did, but part of me just kind of knows that he didn't, and that he was just one of those homeless dudes that dies, disappears, and doesn't even get so much as a funeral. Jesus, how did I fuck that up? I want to hope that he did, but a part of me just kind of knows that he didn't, and that he was just one of those homeless dudes that dies, disappears, and doesn't even get so much as a funeral to mark their passing. Alright, I gotta pee into a toilet or on my pants, so I will be right back. What did some kid's head pop off from being steamrolled? I think he got smushed under like asphalt forever. If I recall. If I recall the story. How was the flow? It was good. Even flow. Dude wipes. Doodly wipes. But I promise it was not funny in the moment. How long do you plan on narrating? Well, tonight, we're going to finish out these stories where... What was this? This is story 4 of 17. Do you mean like for the rest of my... Oh, in general? I don't know. I guess probably till I'm dead, you know? I don't really have any reason to stop. If I stopped, man, my life would probably fucking... You know, well, you need like... You know, because eventually the money would dry up because you're not making like new content. And then people stop watching or whatever, but... This might sound kind of funny to some people, but I can promise you it was not funny in the moment. I used to work at Walmart, and one day I'm walking the aisles when I suddenly spot this lady opening up a bottle and chugging the contents. Now, this made zero sense to me at the time because I knew the store pretty well, and the place where the lady was standing was the place that I was pretty certain we kept all the hot sauce. But then, she couldn't have just been chugging the hot sauce, could she? Well, she was. I walked up to her and I said something like, "Excuse me, ma'am," and just the sight of her must have had my jaw dropping. She had bloodshot eyes, tears streaming down her face, and she was wheezing, or like breathing really heavily from how bad it must have been burning her mouth. She was sweating, gasping, and it was just a really crazy thing to see. Like, people have joked when I've told them this story saying, "Oh, she just loved hot ones," or whatever. But when I say that this woman was trying to hurt herself with hot sauce, I mean that legitimately. She kept drinking and drinking. I called security, and by the time security came, she was almost bent double over in pain from what it was doing to her stomach. Security just sort of dragged her outside, and she just laid there until someone called 911, and then the EMTs came and took her away. I used to think about her a lot, like hoping that she was doing better, and I still do. She seemed very sick in the head. I would stop listening. I've spent 4 walks in the past 3 days, totaling 40-ish miles listening to readings. Well, I mean, if I stop creating content today, right? I just ended the stream, never made another video. I don't know. I don't know what the circumstances are for a channel that goes into like dormancy. You know, does YouTube continue monetizing all the old stuff after like 6 years, or does it shut your channel down? You know what I mean? Like, is there a period of time when that happens? Would anybody be interested to go back and just like re-listen to old stuff consistently? That would be really weird. It'd be really weird if someone from YouTube came up to me, had all the data written down, and they said, "Listen, Joel, if you stop doing YouTube right now, your channel will continue to be monetized, making money, and based on the data of how many people go back and watch your old shit, you'll most likely, at the very lowest, get this many views a month." And be able to, you know, but I don't think I want to do that. Like, you know, in the sense of doing content, it's like you feel a sense of accomplishment by doing work, you know. I would have to find something else to do, I guess. Otherwise, I would go a little bonkers. Andy's toys from Toy Story, yeah. All my schizophrenic voices talking to me at once. Alright, that was story 4 of 17. Make offerings to the algorithm. Please, algorithm. Bless me today. Wonder if YouTube will one day be like, this video was uploaded 56 years ago. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine YouTube really going anywhere per se. With the fact that like everybody, I mean, YouTube was the thing that got everybody onto the fact of, you know, everything has got to be on demand, anytime, always, you know, and then you get the streaming services. But I don't know. I hope we don't die in World War III. Maybe we won't. Maybe, I don't know. About 10 years ago, I was laid off from my job and I needed money to pay the bills, so I swallowed my pride and I took a job at Walmart until I could find something in my preferred field. I ended up working in the lawn and garden section, which is actually fun when you get to play with plants all day long. However, I wasn't aware that lawn and garden also does all of the holiday setup, as well as placing said holiday product on the floor. Fast forward to a week before the public school systems were in session, I had a cart full of notebook paper, pencils, trapper keepers, all that kind of stuff that I was trying to put on the shelves when a sound ripped through my eardrums that was similar to ones that are typically only heard on the Discovery Channel. The best I can describe it is cats being lit on fire by their tail and being chased by rabid wolves. I looked around to figure out just who in the hell was being murdered in the store when I saw him. There was a kid, about 8 years old, who looked as if he was desperately trying to become Jabba the Hutt, and the kid was succeeding. It took me a minute to figure out what the hell was going on in my aisle until I realized that this kid was throwing a fit because his parents wouldn't buy him 3 different trapper keepers, one of which was Hello Kitty. Normally, I'd just shrug and say, typical Saturday in Walmart, but no. This little brat realized that his dad wasn't paying attention to him and was instead focused on his siblings. This pisses the kid off even more, since his howl... We tube, them tube, they tube, us tube, their tube. It's our tube. With a picture of Karl Marx. Ugh. I've seen the new Fallout. I have not. No, I heard it was good though. I was really sad that Invincible was, for the season 2, was only like 8 episodes. Because there were so many subplots in the second season that in my opinion, it needed like a whole nother 8 episodes just to like really come even close to like closing things out or whatever. I don't know. Hello Kitty Satanic Panic? No. But yeah, 8 episodes was not enough at all. Don't get me started on how disappointed I am with the release schedule for Invincible. Yeah, it wasn't, I guess it's like, wasn't even necessarily the release schedule, which was frustrating, but I guess since I was young, You always got kind of used to, like, if you liked a show, you gotta wait till fucking next week to watch the next Pokemon or whatever. Even though most of the time it was just like worthless filler episodes. But yeah, there was just so much packed into season 2 as far as storyline goes with Invincible, that it just didn't have at all the same like weight that season 1 carried for the most part, going into the finale. And that, I mean, obviously they knew that they were going to keep going, but it was just kind of frustrating that they couldn't, I don't know, had made it more exciting, I suppose. Done a Ouija board. I think I did a Ouija board back in like college, which is pretty creepy. A cast member in Gen V just died on a motorcycle. Is that from The Boys? Gen V? Or what am I thinking of? X-Men gets me used to weekly uploads, takes a mid-season break halfway through. Absolutely hate that. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's how it was back with just television in general. Maybe they realized that they can't just like pump out fucking binge shit anymore. And who knows, maybe that means that the quality of shows will be increasing. Hopefully the writers will get fucking better. They're probably afraid Stephen Yeun will go through puberty soon, yeah. He's growing a little mustache. This pisses the kid off even more, since he howls with rage, and here's where it gets... Okay, Jesus Christ. This pisses the kid off even more, since he howls with rage and, here's where it gets insane, kicks his what looked like 8 months pregnant mother directly in the stomach. And to her credit, this lady didn't whomp this spoiled little monster's butt right in the aisle. No, she instead collapsed on the floor and had to be taken away by paramedics. And then in the commotion, that little brat took that as a sign that he could have all the Trapper Keepers he originally wanted. I watched this whole thing go down, and as the dad watched his wife get loaded into an ambulance, not one iota of, "you're gonna get it later," came from him. Instead, the little brat that kicked his mom started crying about being hungry and wanting chicken nuggets, which the dad then took him to go get, I think. And I swear, it's places like Walmart where you see the lowest of humanity sometimes. It's not even the place itself. It's just everyone goes there. And I saw and dealt with some amazing customers during my time there, but I also saw the absolute dregs of society too. And sometimes if I didn't do some terrible... Warning. Welcome back for 19 months. Woo, 19 months. That's crazy. How you doing, my friend? Are we listening to Let's Read actually recording, editing tomorrow's episode? We certainly are. Welcome to the struggle bus. What was the sense? But I also saw the absolute dregs of society too, and sometimes if I didn't do some terrible things... Oh, if it didn't... But I also saw the absolute dregs of society too, and sometimes if it didn't do some terrible things to my soul... Soul? What the fuck? But I also saw the absolute dregs of society too, and sometimes if it didn't do some terrible things to my soul. Do I edit myself? I do, yep. It's just easier that way. Like if I had to, if I had like more in-depth videos, maybe I would pass it off to like an editor or somebody with like more capabilities, but my videos editing is pretty straightforward. How long does it take me to edit? Honestly, not too long. Fuck. Yeah, Invincible is a real comic, but I feel like the show is better. Kirkman has great ideas, but he's not that great of a writer overall. It's always better when other people rework his stories. Okay. Yeah, I was curious. After season 2, I was kind of curious about the actual comic itself, but I've been hearing that it's not quite as good as the show, which is kind of sad to hear. Do I do other work on the side? Not really. I worked at Walmart several years ago when a coworker's ex-husband came in with a gun. He owned a failing business and had committed insurance fraud 3 times. The wife said that she had no idea that he was committing arson and filed for a divorce. The ex-husband was... Wait, arson? When did arson come into this? He owned a failing business and had committed insurance fraud 3... Oh, I see. Insurance fraud via arson. My bad. What's something really special about me? Seriously, no jokes. I guess the most special thing really about me is just the YouTube shit. Like, it's the one thing in my life when I tell people about, like, they are all 100% interested to hear about. And, you know, it's, you know, and it's always, like, at family shit, at friends things. It's just... That's what they want to talk about. Like, nobody ever gives a fuck about me squatting 500 pounds. No one cares about that. The only person that ever cared about that was me when I did it, and my friend who was there to high-five me as he spotted me. You know what I mean? And that was it. That was anybody ever told was like, oh, that's cool, man. But, yeah, I don't, you know, special about me, aside from the wings that I have. Nobody cares that I knocked off that liquor store. Got everything in the safe. And nobody cares. The characters you create for that comic are very vague. Most of them are just strong fighters who can fly. Very few of them have interesting powers or backstories beyond just being strong. Oh, interesting. I wonder why. I am a YouTube channel. It is kind of sad sometimes, like when I think about, I don't know, like my friend invited me out for, you know, he was meeting up with some people and they were going to the bars and yada, yada, yada. And this weekend I just genuinely could not be fucking arsed to, hey, what's up, Missy? I just couldn't be bothered to like go out to a bar where I don't like drinking. I don't like being around a bunch of random loud people. I do like socializing, but I like socializing that has like meaning to it, as most of us do. And I you know, almost 100 times out of 100, anytime I've ever gone out drinking with people, you know, you never really gain like a meaningful interaction with really any of them. It's always just like superficial shit. It's like, oh, you're at a club? Well, are you jacked? Are you in shape? Are you sexy? Are you fuckable? Because that's the only thing you're going to be able to derive from another person's personality within 3 seconds of seeing them in the loud fucking music. You know, you don't ever get to like learn about their inner workings or desires or interests or abilities within writing or art or whatever the fuck, you know. If I have someone to play pool with, I'll go out. Yeah, pool's cool. I'm not very good at pool, but I would like to get good at it. It'd be fun. So whenever he asked me to go out, I was just like, you know, fuck that shit. I've seen the show 1,000 times. You go out, and then the people that you're there with are just like the most boring motherfuckers you've ever come across. Nothing to say, nothing interesting that they do, you know, and they don't even know that they're not interesting. They don't even realize that they've got nothing, you know. And it's not to be, I'm not even trying to be mean. It's just that it's sometimes I just feel like I'm interacting with aliens from planet Norbdob, where everybody there is just operating solely on instinct. Can I wiggle my ears? A little bit. I can kind of raise my right eyebrow. like Leonardo DiCaprio, but not really that well. Go to EDM concert, get someone's whole life story in a short conversation. Yeah, they take themselves way too seriously. That's true. Yeah, people do take themselves way too seriously. Like, there's nothing I hate more than the person who sits there and listens to like your friend's conversation where you're like riffing off of each other and saying some fucking stupid shit, and they're just like, I guess you're in your own, you guys are just like in your own little world over there. It's just, shut your fucking pie hole, dummy. You're nothing. You're fucking nothing. You're fucking nothing. We're funny. You're poop. He owned a failing business and had committed insurance fraud 3 times. The wife said she had no idea he was committing arson and filed for divorce. The ex-husband was angry at her for testifying against him, and he asked her why she wouldn't talk to him. She asked him to leave, and then he told her he had a gun. For some reason, she ran into the women's restroom at the front of the store to hide. He followed her in there and had her on her back while she sat on top of her straddle. Sat her on her back while he sat... Okay. He said, she said. What's up, Katie? Creating the scene from American Psycho. Yeah, I'm just making up realities. I'm an AI that has no human experiences, so I just make up stuff from Disney movies. Best episode of Let's Read. This one that I'm recording right now about Walmart. Many people only want to react and don't know how to contribute. Yeah, and you know, that's fine, I guess, because that's kind of the whole point, is that there are content creators and then there are content consumers, and we're all part of that. But I want people to realize that all of us are capable of making stupid shit and expressing ourselves through a sense of creativity. But so many people fight against it, almost like it's like sacrilegious in their head to, or just like such a fucking foreign concept to be creative, you know? And it's like, come on, man. You don't have to be a fucking carbon copy of every other human being on planet Girth. It's not super cool. Partially blamed for Walmart. I worked for an architectural firm that built them. I'm sorry. I like Walmart, honestly. Like, whenever I would go places and be someplace for an extended period of time and I'd felt homesick, I would walk into a Walmart, and something about their fluorescent white lights and the way that the store was familiarly structured made me feel like I was back home. So in many ways, I salute you for your service, Helldiver. What's the difference between a bar and a club? I guess, like, yeah, a club has a dance floor and a, well, you know, dance floor pretty much. Because, you know, a club can also have a bar. Honestly, boycott Walmart. Yeah, but no one's ever going to boycott Walmart. You know, you need to go get toilet paper and snacks. You know, to really expect a single human being to ever like show restraint for a boycott, it's not the proper incentivization tree. You know what I mean? People can boycott bad movies or bad video games and things of that nature because they don't really want to play them because it looks bad, or they don't want to watch it. But like, to tell them to boycott something that they enjoy, like Pepsi or Coke or whatever the fuck, that's never going to work, because if they're already addicted to the sugary substance bullshit and that's part of their day-to-day grind, you know, that's a lot to expect from random people on the internet, you know? Oh, because they raised the prices. Yeah, that too. Yeah, boycott because because we don't have any, we don't have anything to give them in exchange for the goods. What about girl cot? Nobody ever girl cots anything. Walmart sounds like a horror movie. I'm sure you have big department stores in South Africa, right? There's got to be like some sort of just big ass store, that like warehouse looking ass thing that has like a fucking playpen for pigs as well as fresh produce. I saw a meme where it was talking about like in the fresh produce aisle, like the mist machine, saying that the mist machine would feel so good as a piece of fresh produce. I was like, that's so true. Anytime as a little kid I would walk by the mist machine and all like the fucking spinach and shit, and it just looked like a mysterious jungle. Oh, Tesco, yeah. Pennsylvania says hi. Well, I say I'm inside of you, Pennsylvania. I'm inside of you. I've never been to Walmart nor Starbucks. Do you guys have those in Down Under? Not allowed on your island. Yeah, is that Hawaii? I remember there was no Walmarts in Hawaii or something. Or maybe there was. I remember going to like a Walmart somewhere. It was like weird. It was like multiple stories. I feel like it was Hawaii. Maybe not. Maybe they don't have it there. I could never stop having Starbucks. That's fine. It's fine. Guys, it's fine. It's fine to like the stupid. It's fine to be a modern day consumer of goods. Because these mega corporations wouldn't get to the size they are if they weren't genuinely enjoyed by most people. And you being one of the ones that also enjoys them is not a bad thing. It's no big deal. Just have some of the burnt, disgusting mud water. It's delicious. He followed her there and had her on her back while he sat on top of her, straddling her. He was crying and saying his life was over and all this. Another person happened to be in the bathroom, but he let her go unharmed. They evacuated the entire store while the cops set up. And the cops finally said that they were coming in just to talk, and he shot at the cop and missed, and the bullet went through the door. He said he knew that he was going away for the rest of his life for shooting at a cop, and he said he was sorry and he loved her, and then shot himself in the head while still sitting on top of her. They had to move his body off of her to help her get up and out. She wasn't harmed, but she's still in therapy to this day. And we were pretty good friends at the time, and it still scares me because I would have never have thought her husband was capable of that. Yikers. Have you seen the news? Shinkflation, they posted the Oreo cream is less than what it used to be a few months ago. That's so fucked up. That's so fucked up, man. If there's one thing that you don't mess with, it's the Oreo cream. I'm gonna fucking jump off a cliff now. Yeah, but I guess it makes sense, objectively speaking, just because they gotta find a way to make the same money, but give you less. They'll always find a way. There's always a workaround. You increase the minimum wage? Well, too bad. The prices of all the goods go up. There's always a way. Get Oreo cream in a container now? A whole chug jug. Well, yeah, they're by them not giving us the full typical Oreo cream container size, that's essentially creating an eating disorder within us. These corporations are starving us to death. They are starving us to death without our typical 1 gallon of Oreo cream. I was helping direct traffic at an event in a Walmart parking lot when I started to hear a man shouting about 25 to 50 feet away from me. I couldn't really tell what was going on, so I kept directing traffic a few more minutes until I realized his family had locked themselves in the car, seemingly in fear of him, and he was... shit. Seemingly in fear of him, and he was intoxicated, cussing and screaming, not only scaring them, but the hundreds of people and families walking through the parking lot. I calmly approached him and told him I understood that he must be going through a stressful situation, and I asked if I could help resolve things. He looked at me with this fire in his eyes and told me that I better not get in between him and his family. I tried to reassure him that it wasn't my intention, only to try and calm him down, and I just wanted to help. Things escalated verbally, but I was able to guide him about 20 feet away from the family car while we were talking. The wife/girlfriend saw this as her opportunity to drive away, but before she could, he jumped on the hood of the moving car. I had no time to think and just jumped in front of the car. Thoughts of her plowing other families over while driving with him on the hood flashed into my head, and I just reacted in that moment. She stopped, and I talked him off the car, while he threatened me more and radioed for help. Should have sooner, but things escalated quicker than I thought they would. In the next 10 minutes, before help arrived, he got one of the doors open and was trying to pull a 2-year-old boy out of his car seat while I tried to pin it. Fuck. London is actually more dangerous than New York, although that doesn't surprise me. Interesting. What data would demonstrate London would be more dangerous than New York? Is it just crime per capita, or what is it? We in the UK have no right to arm ourselves. Yeah, I don't know. You could move here. You could move to the United States and you could live in the rural area and you could protect yourself from any quasies. Maybe? I don't know. I guess you couldn't really just move here, could you? You'd have to figure out a visa situation. It's certain crimes such as homicide. Wait, Joel won't answer those questions inquiring minds want to know, right? What questions? I don't even see one popping up. I have it on live chat. Does it not show up? Here to protect yourself or deal some damage. Some call these trash. Me, I call them treasures. Yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody wants to argue in some weird pompous way that it's like abstract to like want to protect yourself. It's not abstract. It's pretty basic, you know? As long as you don't do anything bad with it and use it for its purposes, it's usually fine. In the next 10 minutes, before help arrived, he got one of the doors open and was trying to pull a 2-year-old boy out of his car seat while I tried to pin him into the open door and prevent him from getting the boy. 2 random dads saw what was happening and helped me keep him corralled until my help arrived. I let them take over so I could go back to directing traffic, which went a little haywire in the preceding 15 minutes. Before long, I heard yelling behind me and saw him hit one of the other security guards and then 2 guards and the guy all grabbing onto each other in some scuffle. I ran over and we took and held him down firmly but safely for about 15 minutes until police arrived and arrested him. I received a subpoena, but he pled before the trial and I never learned what happened before or since. I just hope that family is okay. Dude, we need another Jurassic Park movie, but not the like past 3 that were bullshit. We need like ones that are like actually good and mysterious and cool and grounded in reality. True, honest dinosaur breeding. I don't know. I feel like the last 3 were just kind of like they were what they were, but I feel like they were like too over the top. Something about the original trilogy, maybe not necessarily the 3rd one, they just felt a lot more personal, you know? Ooh. Joel, can you read my mind? What? Read your palm? It says here that you're going to live to be 10,006. Obituary. Oh, have them play it at my funeral. I don't know. People are so concerned about their funerals. But you're going to be dead, so like, what do you care about your own funeral for? You should care about your next shift. You're late. Just kidding. How do I reply to you instead of typing your name out? I think you can click their line of text or something. Well, let me see. The little 3 dots on the right. What do we get? No, I guess that. I think if you just type @ like the @ symbol, and start to type their name, it should do it. And then you type space, and then you can type your message. What's the difference between homicide and mass murder? Are you asking me or the statistician in the chat? Which franchise would you play, Halo or Gears of War? Well, you know, they're very unique. Halo was amazing when the first one came out. Halo 2 blew my mind for multiplayer. It started to fall off for me for Halo 3, even though I know some people say Halo 3 was the best one. It was too much of the same that I just like couldn't really get pulled into the multiplayer as much. Halo 4 I like barely touched. Halo 5 I barely touched. And I don't know, what are we on? You know, Halo ODST, that was fine, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, Halo Infinite was, I don't know, open world Halo, whatever. It's just whatever. That's how I feel about Halo anymore. It's just, who cares? But yeah, Gears of War 1 was cool. It was like a very unique experience that I remember it was supposed to release with the launch of the Xbox 360, but it didn't come out till like substantially well after that. Oh yeah, Halo Reach, right. But there's certain things about games like that where once they reach a certain degree of success, there tends not to be any sort of like advancement in its overall gameplay. And I will honestly say, like, when it comes to Halo, between Halo 1 and Halo 2, it felt like there was a pretty big jump in gameplay and presentation and graphics. But then I feel like after Halo 2, it's like they were just like constantly trying to like re-replicate Halo 2 over and over again, that it just felt like the same shit. And in a similar fashion with Gears of War, it like peaked with the first game, in my opinion, and then just never really tried to, I don't know, go any further or change my... Actually, I can't really speak on the Gears of War games as much as Halo, to be honest. Ania with the 10. Hope I'm saying that right. Enjoy something like a smoothie on me. Thank you. Thank you. You'll be left on top of a mountain so birds eat me. Well, what if I eat you? What if I find you up there and start feasting? You're playing through Halo 2 earlier. Dude, I remember where there was like there used to be like Xbox demo discs. And, oh man, it was so sick. I remember back in the day I would get those like every month. And Halo 2, you didn't get to play a demo of it, but you got to watch like what you thought was gameplay of it. And it was like, it had a completely different, like, it just goes to show you how much shit like changes in a short period of time. But it, like, whatever the demo of it was just freaking bonkers. Yeah, with the magazine and stuff. Man, that really got me hype. I mean, well, yeah, it was such a big jump, like being able to like hijack vehicles, dual wielding, obviously the graphical jumps and stuff. But I will say, like, the overall sound design of Halo 1's weapons, to me, had, like, so much more punch to it. Like, when you'd shoot the assault rifle or power up the fucking plasma pistol and shit, everything just had so much more weight and power to it. And now it seems like all the newer weapons are just kind of like a sneeze, like, This is the sound of a plasma pistol in Halo Infinite. Here I come, I'm gonna hurt you. AOL discs. I don't know if I had AOL discs. More for the demo discs, I would not have introduced Warcraft off of a PC gaming magazine. Oh, Warcraft, right. Battle rifle headshots in Halo 2 are pretty... Yeah, I remember the noob combo was so sick in Halo 2. Like, you would just power up the pistol to bring their shield down quickly, switch to the battle rifle, and just headshot him. It was... I remember in high school playing in a Halo 2 tournament, and I got to the final thing, but we were on the, like, the final... What do you want to call it? Like... It was duels, so it was me and another buddy versus these two other guys. But then they ended up getting the sword on midship. I don't know if you guys remember midship, the map. But there was a sword in the middle in Halo 2. And it was so fucking OP, because you would get it, and if you would get it, if you made any sort of contact with your reticle, it would be red, and they would fly at you and just one-shot you with this sword. And we just couldn't stop it, and they got like such a massive lead that it was like impossible. But I kind of wish that they would have like turned that off. But it was pretty sick. All the next gen Gears games are still fantastic. That's cool. Yeah, I haven't really looked into them in so long. That's why I feel kind of bad like talking trash, but I just haven't been motivated. Shotgun greater than the sword. I don't know, dude. Back then, it was like, maybe I should have found the shotgun at that time. So many regrets. Imagine if a game had bully rags as a weapon option. Bully rags? What's a bully rag? I was guarding at a Walmart that had been gutted and used to store construction equipment for a construction company. I literally just sat in my car and circled the building and didn't have to answer to anyone or have anyone check up on me. One night I'm sitting in my car facing the building, and out of the shadows, a woman walks towards the front of the building. She had no shoes on, short pajama-style shorts, and a thin white spaghetti-strap top. It was like 37 degrees, so immediately I'm like, what the hell? And watch her for a while. I noticed that she was very alert and checking her surroundings, constantly, like her head was on a swivel, and then all of a sudden, she darted behind a concrete column at the front of the building. A Honda had just pulled into the lot, and she noticed it before I did, and she was keeping the column between the car and her, and the car was creeping slow, like they were looking for someone, and as it drove past her, she shifted so they couldn't see her behind the column. At this point, alarm bells are ringing in my head, and I get out of the car. The Honda leaves the area, and she sees me. She knows I see her, and she starts running over. I ask, "Do you need help? Are you okay? What's going on?" She just tells me to call the cops, and she's scared, crying. I don't know how to describe it. It's not crying from sadness or anything, like pure terror, tears, and... Oh. Plasma sword was what we wanted to use at long last when we finally got Halo 2. Yeah, dude. Then there were so many like cool little just fucking weird glitches that people knew, like the super jump on certain maps to get like out of the map. You know, like all of that was like still in the days of people just like spreading rumors to each other of like seeing things in a game or something happening in a game. I remember I was like briefly convinced that my friend found some sort of Easter egg outside of like some sort of horror jump scare Easter egg outside of a jungle map. Oh, the gravity hammer, yeah, that shit was nuts. Yeah, remember Griff? Was it Griff Ball? I don't know. It's so sad to me that like Halo Infinite was fumbled so hard. Just because I still feel like there's so much potential there, you know? For custom matches and all of that kind of stuff, but we just won't see it, you know? How do you reply to anyone on here without typing out their username? I don't think there's a way to just like right click their name and reply or anything like that. I guess you could just type it in and be like, hope they figure it out. She just tells me to call the cops, and she's scared, crying. I don't know how to describe it. It's not crying from sadness or anything. It's like pure terror, tears, and gasping. I start calling the cops, and that Honda rolls back into the parking lot, and instantly she's like, "Oh, never mind. It would be better if you don't get involved," and starts walking to the car like she's just been found out. After that, she got in the car, and that was that. It's been like 3 years and I still think about it. Was it human trafficking? An abusive boyfriend? I have no clue. But my blood runs cold when I stop and remember about that night, and I hope she's okay, but I doubt it. Houston, we forgot the Benjamin. I don't know, that meme was so funny. Where like it's like a rocket landing in reverse. Houston, we forgot the Benjamin. Queso, what's up, dude? Do the I like Skittles impression? I don't remember what that's from. I like Skittles. I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to my head is like an effeminate voice. Earlier, bully rag is a padlock tied to a bandana that you whip at people. Oh shit, that sounds painful. Wait, 8 of 17? I think so. Did I skip one? I hope I didn't skip one. And Joni, welcome back for 6 months. I love you, fam. Love you too, broski. Going hard, Ute. Wait, did we skip anything? Oh. Oh, we did. No. No, yeah, this one was about the guy directing traffic. And then this one was about the guard on the gutted store. And then this one... Okay. I keep talking about gay Halo. You don't like Halo? What do you like? Did I ever collect Pokemon cards? Goddamn right. Honestly, when I was in 3rd grade, I remember hearing about people collecting Pokemon cards, and I thought that it was dumb as fuck. I was like, why are you collecting little stupid cards? Like, who cares? And then as soon as I bought like one pack, it was like instantly being addicted to crack. And I must have over the years spent like all of my money on buying Pokemon cards. I got a rock. You like sports? What kind of sports you like? You're so not gay that you like sports. That's cool, dude. Only the straightest of people like sports. I'm so sporty. I like volleyball. A huge Big Leaf Fallout fan. Big fan of Fallout, folks. Big fan. The show's not woke. It's not a woke show. They're done with that. They've moved past it. Not anymore. Sticking true to the material. It's a huge step forward in entertainment and streaming. So many Pokemon cards just got my husband addicted to collecting. Nice. Yeah, like sometimes I go into a convenience store around here that has Pokemon cards on display, and I'm like so tempted to just buy a shit ton of them. Any personal socials? I do not. No, I never made a personal Instagram or anything like that. That's not your. Why are you so mad at Halo, dude? You like sports? Name every sport ever. Which also means that you like oiled up leather pant wrestling. It's a little strange that you're into that sport. But it's also my favorite. Raphael, no worries. Good to see you. You know, funny thing is, Raphael, is that these stories actually help your anxiety, or help a lot of people. I like hardcore adrenaline rush. Holy shit, that's like, so like, yeah, so you would like Sonic the Hedgehog, probably. Maybe you are Sonic the Hedgehog. What the hell? Talking about Galo? Get out of here. I like sports. You like Sonic? Fuck, I knew you liked Sonic. You are him. Slam Ball. Yeah, I miss Slam Ball. Makes you feel like the USA is going to be okay. Honestly, I think I can fix it. I think I can figure it out. I'll talk to Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Do I watch anime? I used to watch a lot of anime. I'm almost done with what's it called? Ghost Stories on Amazon. It's very funny. It's funny. It's like you can really make any boring anime funny if you just like let people stick to kind of like the tip, you know, like the plot, but then just let them dub over it with whatever silly thing they want to say, and it just suddenly makes the show so good. I do want to see X-Men 97. I heard it was very cool. Dragon Ball Saga has more TCGs than one could recall. Trading card games. What sucks is that you can't mix and match your old cards together with Dragon Ball TCGs due to various different rules amongst them. Yeah, that's kind of lame. You think they would have stayed consistent, but I guess they probably wanted to maximize profits. They just like let everybody fucking make one. Do you watch Bleach? That's the only anime I got into. You know, I don't think I've ever really just sat and watched Bleach. Or I may have seen it on Cartoon Network at some point, but just didn't get pulled into it. Afghanistan-imation. What if that's where all anime came from, was Afghanistan? Do you like X-Files TV show? I still like have... There's this one scene with Joel McHale in it where he talks about like a worldwide conspiracy. There's still like a part of me that just like secretly believes all of that's true. One time, I was at a tailgating party in a Walmart parking lot, and the place was pretty crowded. Dude comes up beside me and isn't really looking to get a drink. He's just kind of looking at me really intensely. Really big guy, probably 6'3", 220 plus pounds of just muscle. I'm like 6 foot, maybe 160, rail thin. And he nonchalantly starts talking about how his favorite thing on a night out is just to punch an absolute random person and see their lights go out, laying on the floor. He says he does it when he's coked out, which he insinuated he was, and just goes on and on about the thrill that he gets from knocking someone out who he doesn't even know. The things he said were probably more graphic and violent than I remember, and I was just like, what the heck, dude? I need to get out of here. I'm not sure how the conversation turned out, but he mentioned that he was out on the town because he went through a breakup. And he said, "Are you my bro?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, man. We're buds." And I got my drink and said something like, "Cheers to ya, and to all the fish in the sea," or something like that. And I got back to my friends and kept that guy in the corner of my eye all night long. The corner of my ass all night long. Alright, story 9 of 17. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. I do remember the X-Files episode. That was like a cops crossover. That one was sick. Did you ever hear of Tales of the Crypt 90 show? Yeah, that shit's so good. I love like horror anthology. It's like some of my favorite stuff. It was kind of funny. There was somebody in the chat who said something about working with, I don't know, people. I have no fucking clue, like the specifics, but it was like working on shows within like the Hollywood scene. And they said about how my voice would be perfect for some sort of horror anthology on Netflix or whatever. And then they reached out via email and went on about how they just have to like basically write up a pilot, and then that they would be back to like, you know, let me know any updates on it. And I mean, I haven't heard anything, but it hasn't been that long. But that would be kind of nuts if something like that worked out. And I certainly would be happy. And I genuinely think that like some sort of abstract narration type show on Netflix could actually work out. But, you know, I mean, I'm just saying it because I'm not saying it's something that will actually happen. And there's probably like a 1% chance of that. And maybe sometimes people just message stuff just because, I don't know, they're crazy and they just want to like say they talk to you or something. Am I a gun nerd? I wouldn't say that I'm a gun nerd, but I do have an appreciation for firearms. Can you plug your friend's channel here? Yeah, that's fine. You might not be able to like put a link, and there's certain things that, like certain words that YouTube picks up that would be like put into spam or whatever. What's the Netflix show called? I have no idea. I'm not sure what it'd be called. But I did find it really interesting looking back years later to that 2-sentence horror story show, and how some of the artwork from that looked eerily similar to artwork that was from the 2-sentence horror stories that part 2 that Axeman Cartoons did on my channel. And, it kind of puts something in your head where you're like, obviously just that idea of like 2-sentence horror stories is influenced by like content creators that did that kind of thing on YouTube, such as myself and others who have had success with it. But then the fact that it went as far as like kind of copying some of the art visuals as well, it kind of makes you feel like you have a chance at maybe making something that could be good. How you exactly sell your pilot to somebody, I have no fucking clue, but I don't know. When I first started listening, I thought you were 70 years old. Your voice was just so good. Really? Does my narration voice come off as older? You missed the old Lazy Masquerade videos, like the narrations, or... Because I think he did well for himself going down the true crime route. Like, that definitely fit. But I kind of understand missing the narrations as well. Used to work at Walmart? Hell yeah. Yeah, like you flip a 30-year switch. Hello, I am older. Does your voice ever get tired? Sometimes at the end of the streams from talking so much and narrating, it gets a little bit sore, but not too much. How old is Let's Read? He is 33. In 2 months, I'll be 34. True crime and cryptoids are my current narration faves. Cryptoids? What's that? Oh yeah, Phantom Librarian. What the hell happened to him? He was popping off for a while. Faces of Death back in the day, I did, yeah. That shit was pretty fooked. Take you down the path of depression. Some people like gore videos and stuff. I just never did, I know it's normal to not like it, but it just always ruined my day. I'm like, fuck, it's like you're faced with mortality, but you're also faced with someone else's pain. I don't know. It's like watching World Star fucking fight videos or whatever. It activates something deep within your lizard brain that is not comfortable. Born in 91. I was born in 90. Favorite story so far? I have no idea. There's too many of them. They're all my favorites. I think it's weird thinking and just talking to yourself for like 3 hours when you're live streaming. It is weird. Sometimes I do wish that there was like other people to like banter off of or whatever, but that's kind of what you guys are doing with the text, but it's not quite. It's sort of ADHD-esque where it's just like so much shit coming at you at one time, and since it's not in real time, there's like a delay, and I kind of, I can't sit there and just stare at the screen waiting for someone specifically to answer, so it's like I have to just keep going and saying stupid shit. Oh yeah, that's one thing I think I lost train of thought. At the beginning of the streams, I mentioned about how I had somebody on the stream in the past to like come in, and I forget what the point of it was, where they like narrated a story, but long story short, I was like chit-chatting with them in the live stream, and it kind of just like killed the energy of like me being my personality, because the whole time I was like concerned about making them feel comfortable and them feel whatever, like talked to, since they're right there, that it just sort of like took away from the dynamic of just the solo shit. The fun of 80s arcades. There were arcades around here growing up that were pretty sick. And it was so cool because there were so many rooms that you did feel like you were going through the decades. Like the center of the arcade had like some of the newest shit, and then as you went outwards, you like went backwards in time with all the various machines. It was sad to see that place go out of business. Gunner's Collective Clips. Thanks for letting me. Yeah, no worries. So rats are squeaking. They better settle down. I'm gonna. Oh yeah, I watched That's Danielle, did you like the skit from I Think You Should Leave where she was gonna like trying to kill her boss's like cutout for his 50th birthday because he came down on her about having her rats in the office compared to her coworker who brought a dog. And he was like, I should have, realized that there's no difference between office rats and an office dog. It's just such a funny concept of like having rats in your desk that you pull out and dump food into it. Everyone sent me that. He won't let her keep her rats in the drawer. It's just so... There's so... Like, after... I was kind of disappointed in season 3 for some reason when I first saw it. But after watching it multiple times over, I'm like, this is so fucking funny. This is genius. The rat mom. You should get an office rat. Hey, shirt brother. Shirt brother, please don't ever do another rule again. What music do I like? I like all of it. It's so good. I don't really like pop, like mainstream shit. Like I'm not jizzing my pants over JoJo Siwa or anything like that. My boyfriend listened to you forever. When we got together, we started listening to you. He will try and put someone else on, and I tell him your voice is the only one I can stand. Love the laughs. Thanks, Sam. That's cool. Natalie, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you. Was it this channel that had a video that had a story talking about how a girl in Mexico was in a dangerous situation and prayed, and then a ghost procession of all the souls of purgatory came by? I think so. Some sort of like historical true crime type situation or something like that. I vaguely recall that. All like the dead people came out and like helped her or something. I don't remember. I'm a hardcore Swiftie, yeah. Part of the cult. JoJo Siwa dance. Yeah, what the fuck was up with her? Like, I don't know. I think she's losing it or something. That's what I'm saying. Like, childhood stardom is like not good for your psyche. Whenever nobody ever tells you no for things, you end up bad. Spoiled rotten. Thoughts on Mr. Nightmare? He is hot, dude. I love him. I kiss him at night. Pearl Jam rocks. Even poop. Okay. I work at Walmart, and we tend to get a lot of interesting customers. One day a man came in, and I, being a cashier, went to serve him. He stood at the counter for about 10 seconds without looking at me and then proceeded to run out of the store. Now cut to about 2 hours later, I'm cleaning the men's bathroom when he walks in. I apologized and say that I'll just be a moment to finish up my cleaning. When I went to the exit bathroom, Oh, she's high on ketamine. See, I guess that would make sense. She's probably on drugs. Which stinks, It stinks like that you're so young and you're on some shit. I didn't see the Nickelodeon documentary. What was that all about? I keep hearing the Nickelodeon documentary, but I don't know. I know that what's his name was... I don't actually know anything. Cut to about 2 hours later. I'm cleaning the men's bathrooms when he walks in. I apologize and say that I'll just be a moment to finish up my cleaning. When I went to exit the bathroom with my cleaning supplies, he blocked the doorway and wouldn't let me pass for about 10 seconds again. He then spends half an hour in the bathroom before exiting the store without purchasing anything. An hour later, you guessed it, he's back again, pacing back and forth at the front of the store, and he ends up buying like $30 worth of stuff and then leaves the store without it, and just never returns. Several weeks later, I'm waiting for my bus. I live very close to work. When he sees me, I see him, and he walks up and stands next to me for that 10-minute wait. When the bus finally arrived, he turned around and walked away. Now, as a young woman, this scared the crap out of me, particularly when I drove past him getting arrested a couple of weeks ago, surrounded by police officers. okay. Do you like animated versions of your stories? You know, I don't anymore. Like, initially it was like a cool thing. I was like, whoa. But then, like, I realized that all the animators were, like, from fucking Bangladesh or some shit, and they're just, like, using dog shit, the same animation program, just to, like, milk money or whatever. And, you know, I get it. Or, you know, make your cheddar as best you can, but it was... like, if you're gonna do animation, like, at least try and do it yourself. Try and, like, create your own style. Try and be good instead of just using a fucking shitty program to do it. So it just kind of, like, lost its flavor. Oh, Kablam characters, Sniz and Fondue. Dude, I haven't seen Kablam in so long. Was Kablam like... was that just like a show within a show type thing? HBO Max and Prime have the documentary as well. Interesting. Oh, shit. Alright, we are getting close. Holy fuck. Bunch of differently animated sketches. Yeah, that shit was awesome. Wasn't there like a naked He-Man type character? The money, yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, I understand why they'd be motivated just to, like, pump out shit. And what microphone do I use? Well, the one you hear right now is a Neumann TLM, but the one that I record into is an H4n Pro. They're just stacked on top of each other right now. Oh yeah, the obsession with the toilet. Dude, that was Skibidi Toilet before Skibidi Toilet was a thing. It was a premonition. If I make AI art for you, where do I send it to? You can send it over on Reddit or the email, letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. But I would prefer if you made your own art. You could tag me as well on Twitter or Instagram. This random man who happened to be outside when I was visiting a Walmart a few years back. What? That was confusing. There was this random man who happened to be outside when I was visiting a Walmart a few years back. He was disheveled, short, I want to say maybe 5'1" to 5'3", bald, mumbling to himself and walking very funny. When I got to be about 3 feet from him, he turned around and knocked out the lady directly behind him. A perfect stranger on her phone, and he knocked her out with one solid punch to the face. Then he ran up to a guy who was easily a foot taller than him and tackled him to the ground and began headbutting him and yelling, "Can you feel this now, Mary? Can you?" It was psycho. And by the time the cops showed up, this guy was foaming at the mouth from yelling, covered in blood, and 2 other people, 2 older men, had been assaulted by him. It was so nuts. The guy was obviously on some pretty strong stuff, but I've never seen anyone before or after that just lose it quite like that. Yeah, Prometheus and Bob, holy crap. Prometheus and Bob. Lemony Snickets. I have a story I'm thinking of submitting. I would say it's fall under the indigenous Native American tales and deals with more of the spiritual side of indigenous culture, but I need permission. Permission from me to send it in, or permission from the folks. The cable we had growing up didn't have Nickelodeon, so I never got into that during the 90s. Damn, dude. That's actually crazy. Took like almost completely just miss out on that, which is fine, nothing wrong with it, but it's just interesting to think like you'd go to school all the time and like hear people talk about some shows and you're just like, I have no clue. I do remember like kids in school who had no TV. Like this one kid, I forget his name was Dylan or some shit, always wore sweatpants every day, and he just no TV at his house, which is probably for the best because like he was pretty proficient at reading. Joel was like 16 when I was born. It's weird. I guess it's not that weird. People are born and die all the time. I used to work for Walmart corporate, and we all had to go to this event one time. We all met up in Miami and took two 15-passenger vans to drive up to Central Florida, both full. We took US 27, known as Okeechobee. The circle of life. Do, do, do. Oh, shit. Let me start Okeechobee, right? Okeechobee. Okeechobee. Do you have pets? Yeah, I got a kitty cat. Wasn't into SpongeBob all throughout school for no cable. Yeah, man, SpongeBob fucking rocked, dude. We took US 27, known as Okeechobee Road. At some point just before sundown, we stopped at a McDonald's for dinner. I remember chatting it up with him, typical teenage stuff. What? Wait. What? I used to work at Walmart corporate. We all met up in a Miami We took US 27. At some point just before sundown, we stopped at McDonald's for dinner. I remember chatting it up with him. Typical teenage stuff. The weirdest porno we ever saw. Staying up to... Who's him? Who's him? At some point just before sundown, we were in separate vans. We started loading up when one of the instructors decided my buddy... You know, him. Yeah. It's him. I'm him, baby. Home Depot horror. Oh, it's the Hamburglar, yeah. I remember chatting... Okay. We took US 27, known as Okeechobee Road. At some point just before sundown, we stopped in a McDonald's for dinner. I remember chatting it up with him, typical teenage... I don't even know. We took US 27, known as Okeechobee Road. At some point just before sundown, we stopped at a McDonald's for dinner. I remember chatting it up with the guy. Typical teenage stuff. The weirdest. I used to work for Walmart corporate. Why is he talking teenage stuff? Was he working for corporate as a teenager or talking to a teenager? What the fuck is it? What the fuck is this saying? I remember chatting it up with him. Typical teenage stuff. The weirdest porno we ever saw. Staying up to watch this scrambled channel that sometimes showed a boob, etc. What the? We were in separate vans. We started loading up when one of the instructors decided my buddy and I should switch vans. I was confused, but sure, it didn't matter to us. What? I sat in his seat and he went to the other van, and then last minute the instructors decided we could switch back to how we were. Never quite figured out why, but it saved my life and ended my friends. What? Okay, so can someone help me make sense of this fucking story? Someone worked for Walmart corporate. Why do they work for Walmart corporate as kids? I know all it needs is like one fucking contextual like sentence in there. All it needs is like one contextual sentence in there for me to like make sense of what the fuck it's saying, because it's making it seem like they work for Walmart corporate, but then all of a sudden they have a buddy who is a teenager like them or something. I remember chatting it up with him. Typical teenage stuff. The weirdest porno we ever saw. Why is that? Yeah, he did whippets and wrote this shit. Yeah, maybe. Fuck, it's like, it's a solid amount of words, too. Can't just, like, disinclude. Pradeep, can you not do that? Alright. I remember chatting it up with him. Was there a guy at some point? We took US 27, known as Okeechobee Road. At some point just before sundown, we stopped at McDonald's for dinner. Normally you can like understand the context like pretty quick and like add to it if need be. I remember chatting it up with him. We were in separate vans. We started loading up when one of the instructors decided my buddy and I. I don't fucking know. I'm trying to think like my buddy from back then was there too. I don't fucking know. I don't know what the fuck is being said. We took US 27, known as Okeechobee Road. At some point before sundown, we stopped at a McDonald's for dinner. My buddy from back then was there too, and I remember chatting it up with him. Just typical teenage stuff. I remember at one point we were in separate vans, and we started loading up when one of the instructors decided that my buddy and I should switch vans. I was confused, but sure, didn't matter to us. I sat in his seat and he went to the other van, and then last minute, the instructors decided that we should switch back to how we were. I never quite figured out why, but it saved my life and ended my friends. A couple of hours later, it's dark. US 27 has no lights at the time, and their van was behind us the whole time till it just suddenly wasn't. We were 6 miles from our destination when we got a call from the driver of the other van. We were in an accident. Bath salts while writing. Flight attendant stories, that would be interesting. The time that the door freaking flew off the plane, we all got sucked out. We were in an accident. We're hurt. And we sped back at like 100 miles per hour, only to be met by a literal wall of semi-trailers. What? Semi-trailers. We sped back at like 100 miles per hour, only to be met by a literal wall of semi-trailers blocking the two-lane highway. We had to drive on the shoulder to get past them. As we went around these trucks, I noticed that they all had their headlights on. Illuminated on the... Oh my god. Skid Row stories. Is that just like, what is... Oh, Skid Row's in LA, that's right. Forgot. Yeah, what's that like? Just a bunch of zombies. Illuminated on the road was my friend's body. His eyes were open, but all you could see was the whites of his eyes. His arms were very obviously broken at odd angles, but most alarming of all, he was torn completely in half. To say that we were beside ourselves is an understatement. The van was laying on its side, completely mangled, and the rest of the passengers were bloodied and bruised, but aside from a broken arm, they were generally okay. According to the driver, they hit wet pavement on a curve, lost control of the van, and it flipped. My friend was wearing a seatbelt, but he was pretty skinny. He slipped through the belt and broke through a passenger side mirror. What? A mirror? What is it? What the fuck is it saying? My friend was wearing a seatbelt, but he was pretty skinny. He slipped through the belt. Like, is he greased up? Like, he slipped through the belt, sorry, and broke through a passenger side mirror? Wouldn't it be window? Yeah. Like, isn't the mirror like just a small object on the outside? I don't know what the fuck. He slipped through the belt and broke through a passenger side window. He flew approximately 30 yards over the grass median. Fuck Christ. He flew approximately 30 yards over the grass median and landed on the opposite side of the highway. According to the driver, she was trying to climb out of the flip van when she witnessed my friend trying to push himself up with his arms. An SUV was driving on the lane that he was laying in. It hit him and killed him instantly. The SUV did not stop. They never found out who hit him, and it sticks with me 17 years later. I try to be grateful for the life I have. I was going to be in his seat, and happenstance saved me. I struggle with feeling like I deserved it. He was one of the good ones, and I was always struggling with my inner demons. And I miss you, man. I hope you're all right, wherever you are. Rest in peace. Okay. That is sad, but I just, yeah, sorry. I was just confused as fuck trying to, like, read it. Oh, man. That was about Walmart Hal. I guess he worked for corporate, but like had a teenage friend. I don't know. It was fucking weird. I had a stalker situation. I used to work at Walmart, and while I was working one time, a guy came in and just said hi. He knew my name. I sort of recognized him, and he said he went to high school with me. And then it clicked. No, Pradeep, no. Nope, nope. Hi, wolf girl. Ow. When I worked there was a guy who was 19 and worked in corporate. Jesus, you move up the fucking ladder pretty fast, I guess. Maybe I don't know what corporate is. He said hi to me. I opened fire. I pulled out my self-defense pepper spray. He knew my name. I sort of recognized him, and he said he went to high school with me. And then it clicked, and I remembered seeing him back in school. We talked for a bit, and he seemed nice enough. The next day, I got a friend request on Facebook. I added him and didn't think anything of it. Now, a few days later, some of the guys I'm friends with on Facebook sent me a message asking who he is, because he's sending them all friend requests. I never kept my phone number on Facebook, but he somehow got it. He started texting me and calling me. He got my email as well. Sent me this long letter about how he always loved me, wants to marry me, and how perfect we were for each other, asking who all the guys are I'm friends with, and that it should just be me and him. It really took me off guard since we only talked for the first time a few nights ago. I responded nicely, and I tell him that I have a boyfriend and that it seems like he's a nice guy, but that I just didn't feel that way about him, that we just don't know each other well enough. And that was a bad choice of words. He starts showing up everywhere I am. Classes, when I'm shopping, eating, everywhere. If I don't see him, he sends me emails about if I enjoyed this here with this... What? If I don't see him, he sends me emails about if I enjoyed this here with this... Okay. Not who you know, but who you blow. It just means such a... Like you're just... I don't even know. You've been working at Walmart. Just started there as like a young person, and just some like old head who's like 56 years old smoking cigarettes, so he looks like 20 years older. And then he hears that you're in corporate, and he just walks by with a cigarette. He's like, it's not who you know, it's who you blow. Like, all right, fucking weirdo. If I don't see him, he sends me emails about if I enjoyed this here with this person, and I finally tell him that he needs to just leave me alone. He sends me this long-winded email about how I'll pay, how I just didn't give him a chance and he will make me give him one, and what a selfish bee that I... Selfish. And what a selfish bee that I am. Really creepy, just terribly mean stuff. About how he knew my schedule and my routine, and there was nowhere that I went that he couldn't find me. I eventually ended up calling the police and actually getting a restraining order, and he did get into some trouble, but not very much. Now, I was scared for a while after that, but thankfully I've not heard from him since. The friend of my friend is my friend to me. Alright, we're getting close, Holy shit. Oh, God. So this short story is regarding a former coworker of mine at Walmart who seemed as though he took extreme pleasure in violence. You see, one time, he put on a football helmet and ran into the break room and just head-butted me extremely hard with it, and I actually ended up with a concussion. And when I told my manager, he confronted me at work. He shoved me down, got on top of me, and I kept screaming and kicking at him, telling him to get off of me and that I couldn't breathe. Eventually he did, but Jesus Christ, I actually thought he was going to kill me. Thankfully, he ended up getting fired, but I spent the rest of my time working there wondering if he was ever going to come back and finish the job. And finish his shift. His shift of killing you. That's his job. He's a Walmart hitman. But a hitman for the other employees. Just to keep you on your toes. The Walmart Mafia. I used to work at a Walmart where the managers didn't care about their staff. I've since learned that they were fired, so that's something. But the customers were always the worst part. Shit. But the customers were always the worst part. We had this one regular, pretty huge guy who would consistently cross boundaries with me. He would try to grab me whenever he was with his buddies, and he would grab my butt, even after I straight up yelled at him and even slapped him once. I begged the managers to ban him from the store, but that didn't happen. The best that they would do would kick him out if he went too far, which usually involved him grabbing me in some way. He was always free to return the next day, though, because he was a good customer. One Saturday, I was on my cigarette break in the alley beside the store, when that jerk when that joik snoiked up, when that sneaky snake showed up. Yeah, you think he would have went to jail for headbutting. Oh, I don't know. Majorly the break room eating a chickpea salad and someone runs in with a helmet. Yeah, just in the midst of it. Boosh. Whoa, baby, whoa! Whoa! Yo, 15-minute break is up, motherfucker! Whoa! Boosh. One Saturday, I was on my cigarette break in the alley beside the store when that jerk sneaked up and grabbed me around the waist and started to drag me backwards. I immediately went into fight or flight mode and smashed my head backwards into his face, ended up breaking his nose pretty badly. And when he dropped me, I laid on the ground and kicked up into his groin several times. When I had a moment to think and realized who it was who had attacked me, I took my lit cigarette and I put it out on his arm. I think I did a fair bit of screaming, and I spat on him as well. I was just so angry and afraid that I don't have a very clear memory of the rest of that day. I guess the security guys arrived at some point and the cops were called. When the cops came, I gave my statement and he did get arrested. I quit that job and never returned to that crappy place. I never got a chance to find out what happened to the guy or even what his motivations for grabbing me were because I moved to Austin a few months later. Woo, baby, woo! Welcome to Walmart, motherfucker, yeah! It's the greeter. It's the greeter with the stickers. I hope they bring back Walmart greeters. I think they got rid of them, didn't they? I was one of the first people to go. The sad thing about Walmart greeters, whenever they got rid of them, is I don't think they just fired them. I think they killed all of them. I think they killed every Walmart greeter. every greeter charges you with a helmet. Just chases you around the stores you're trying to, but he like randomly select. Yeah, they ate the Walmart greeters, man. They put them in the fucking meat, man. Did you ever wonder where they went? They fucking butchered them, bro. Sold them at Sam's Club. Kitchen Switch, welcome to the Butter Sock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Just at any moment, it's just like on high alert every time you go to Walmart. Because the Walmart greeter might come out of nowhere like a fucking minotaur in a large maze to just battering ram bash its face into you. Am I American? I wish, dude. The Walmart meters. Spooky, scary videos tonight. I can't, dude. I needed to be in bed an hour ago. You thought I was from Ohio. You thought I had that Ohio Riz. You thought I had that gat. Alright. It was late at night and I was driving out of a Walmart parking lot. On the way out, someone tried to cut me off when I was making a turn, which almost resulted in our cars crashing. The other driver was very upset and started following me, flashing his lights to blind me. Then, they forced me to park my car and blocked it. He got out with another guy, grabbing a screwdriver, and tried first to open my car door, which I locked just in time, and then he tried smashing my window. I wasn't so foolish as to get out of my car and risk being stabbed, so I reached for my phone and started calling a few of my buddies who lived nearby. Some strangers started running over too. The guy with the screwdriver and his friends saw that they were going to be outnumbered and quickly escaped in their car. Overall, it was a very scary experience, and I'm pretty sure that if I hadn't locked my door in the time, I would have had a huge screwdriver plunged directly into my neck. I'm gonna unscrew this guy's head. Make your channel better. Once a month you should have one of your streams starting at like 8 or 9 so we can watch spooky scare videos. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I guess that would make it better. You should take shrooms and read to us, in your opinion. In my professional opinion, you should take hallucinogenic drugs every time you stream. I've never taken it, but that would be interesting. I feel like I'd be crying by the end of it. Be fucking bawling my balls off. Tee-hee. I'm like looking for you in the chat when I'm high as shit. I'm sorry, why did you tell me to do this? I'm gonna bite my tongue off. I gotta bite my tongue off because I need to shut up. I'm wasting all my words. I need to just shut up. You just type in chat T. And I think you're a demon. There's demons in my chat. Ah! Oh, also, this is the last story, so I will be right back. I'm going to take some shrooms, and I'll be just kidding. It's magnesium. I'll be BRB, though. TikTok Riz party. Woo! Oh, man. Okay. Full packs of Coricidin. What the hell is that? He would be at high school. Wait, what? Already this fucking story's confusing. No worries. We'll figure it out. I don't know if you watch wrestling, but you always give me Orange Cassidy, AEW wrestler vibes when you stream, and I think that's cool as fuck. Thanks, dude. He was a known murderer / rapist, I heard. Just kidding. Coricidin. What the fuck? Coricidin? Coricidin? Full packs of Coricidin. What the cock? What the bollocks is that? What the scallop? Chill, that's a chat beat. What is this? How do you say it? How do you say it? Seriously, look him up. Orange has one of the best characters in wrestling, in my opinion. Alright, I'm looking him up right now. As if I needed any more distractions. What's his name? Orange Theory? Orange Cassidy.
You don't love the business like I do.
Well, I'm digging this match.
And I'm 14.
Holy shit, the guy he's going against is fucking huge.
And the fans trying to psych up Orange Cassidy, the chant of he's going to try. Is he going to wrestle with the glasses on?
He's got cool glasses.
Hey, Ref, little detail. Yeah, those things you're looking at, you can't wear them in the ring.
You know, Pac said, and I was standing here with the microphone, this is a joke.
It's kind of crazy, just all that.
That this is a joke.
They're chanting holy shit.
Whoa!
In a good mood.
Cassidy with the waistlock, standing switch. Whoa!
Alright. I'm gonna have to see some of his monologues later. Then I'll DM him and give him some tips on how to really wrestle. Okay. Coricidin. Coricidin. I used to work with this guy at Walmart who I refer to simply as Josh. Josh was insane. I don't mean he was a really bad drunk and did crazy stuff, or that he was big and a lover of kicking people's butts a lot. He was all of those things, but so much more. Josh used to take full packs of Coricidin nearly daily. At least that's what it seemed like. He took it and would turn his entire mouth red, and he would be at school high as balls. And he sewed his lips shut for a Halloween party with a needle and thread, and bled all over the place. And he shot himself on more than one occasion. Once in the leg with a rifle just to see how it felt, and the other time with a handgun in his head. Funny as fuck. Thanks, dude. I do like to say jokes. Ever since I was little, I just found that, like, being funny was way more fun than not being funny. Do you think being funny is something you're born with, or do you think it's something that, like, you develop? Dazed and confused. Well, alright. Okay, he sewed his lips shut. Once in the leg with a rifle just to see how it felt, and the other time with a handgun in his head in an attempt to take his own life. It didn't work. He's still alive and almost exactly the same. No effects other than now he gets seizures. And he headbutted a cop. At one time I lent him a CD and he accidentally broke it. He came back to me apologizing and whipped out this obnoxiously large wad of money from his pocket that was just thick with $100 bills and handed me a fresh hundy from it. Now I'd like to take a break in these little bullet points about his life to say, Josh was a mentally disturbed individual. This is true. But he was actually a good guy in his own way. He liked me a lot, actually. Anytime someone would mess with me and he'd hear about it, he'd instantly get incredibly mad and want to kill them. To some, he was a violent psychopath. To others, he was a violent, deranged, messed up human being with an unmistakable sweet side. He was completely delusional. He used to tell me how the doctors took pieces of his body out and replaced them with alien parts to see how he'd operate. Okay. Shout out before I go to bed. What's up, Luke's gym life? Are you working out? He used to tell me about how the doctors took pieces. Okay. He used to tell me about how the doctors took pieces of his body out and replaced them with alien parts to see how he'd operate with them. Honestly, and I'm not joking, I could write a novel based on my experiences with this weirdo. I avoided hanging out with him because I knew that he ended up getting me in some serious trouble, not to mention that he scared the crap out of me. But he always seemed to go out of his way to try and hang out with me, chat with me, whatever. And I have no idea how he managed to hold down that job, but he did, and everyone knew that he was nuts. Years after he added me... Years after, he added me on Facebook, and he still sends me the occasional message, and always buys my music when I release some new... You do work out? Cool. Keep working out. Is it like on your channel? We're going to do a live workout review right now. Oh, it's 80 push-ups for a small YouTuber, you're welcome. 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, 20-second plank. Nice. So it's like kind of like more calisthenic type stuff. Which is crazy. Did you ever see like people's bodies on was it calisthenics? Is that how you say it? It's like insane. It makes me want to like train like gymnast stuff just to see if it's like a better bodybuilding thing than lifting weights. Cal licks den nicks. Years after he added me on Facebook, and he still sends me the occasional message and always buys my music when I release something new or comes to shows. He's a good dude to have on your side, I think, but he's seriously terrifying. I'm a gift to this world, thank you. Oh, man. We did it. Shorty Meg, welcome back for a year and a half. Glad to be here tonight. Just got home to my, I think, haunted house. At least I got you, Joel. And all Yin's amazing people to keep me distracted. I wonder why it's haunted. What the hell happened? I myself am a calisthenics bodybuilder besides lower body and accessories. Yeah, I heard. It's like with calisthenics, you can't quite hit lower body quite the same. But I'd really like to get into doing just calisthenic body work. I'm curious if it's, I don't know. I feel like that's got to be the ticket, you know what I mean? What surprised me most is muscle mass doesn't equal muscle strength. There's a rock climber versus bodybuilder video that's unexpected for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Those gymnast bodies with the calisthenic type stuff it's crazy. All right, my friends, let's read this outro. Does this still exist? Oh, shit. I gotta get to... Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Hiya. Hiya, hiya. Hey, friends. Thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. EST, and there are super fun live streams every Sunday and Wednesday nights. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/letsreadofficial, or over email, and you might even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks. For members of the channel. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks for members of the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories and big compilations located anywhere you listen to podcasts. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, all right. The sound of footsteps is undeniable. Yeah, I think I hear it sometimes upstairs, but I can't ever tell if it's just like house settling bullshit, because it never really goes too far. Remember, you like oiled up leather pantsed wrestling. Who said that? I never said that, did I? Dodongo Man Oof, welcome to the Buttersock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you. It was Fry's favorite. He's a referee. He's a retired grand champion. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, you like oiled up, leathered pantsed wrestling. If it doesn't fit you, you must have quit too soon. Nah, man, I don't know. It's not like... I think there's like different tiers in society on who, what you can say and stuff and get away with nowadays. And I don't think OJ was really... He if you would have made fun of him and the news media, would have been mad at you, or Twitter or whatever, then maybe that you wouldn't be able to get away with that joke. But I don't think there was really a whole lot of people that within that sort of cancel culture, crazy people online, like hierarchy, that really cared for the juice too much. So honestly, I think most of them were like chomping at the bit. And most normal people as well were chomping at the bit to like just be like, yeah, I think he killed her, and let's make fun of him, but it still sucks to die no matter what. But I don't really think he's one of those untouchable topics like certain things might be. Satan literally tweeted OJ just arrived down here. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's the story of America, though, right? You can go kill somebody, and we'll turn you into a star. The fucking next day we'll get you a TV show and a documentary and a book, and You're like, I didn't do it, but if I did, this is how I would have cut her head off. All right, friends. Well, thank you. Tang is just cremated OJ. It is. Thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate you. Thank you for your patience. I will go ahead and get this up on Patreon first thing over there. It's only $1 a month for early access. Otherwise, I'll get it up on YouTube same time, same place tomorrow, or rather today on YouTube, 7 p.m. EST. So stay tuned for that, and be sure to follow me on Twitter at Let's Read and Instagram at Let's Read Official to be kept up to date when I go live next. Otherwise, look forward to me going live around 9-ish p.m. EST on Wednesday. So it's always the night before uploads, which new videos are every Monday and Thursday now, as well as podcasts on Tuesdays at noon. But yeah, sweet dreams to you guys. Thanks for chillaxing, maxing. Oh, cool. Shooting some b-ball outside. Let's go. But otherwise, be well, stay safe out there, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.